now. Welcome to the Sidebar Cantina, the podcast where we talk about Star Wars, pop culture, terrible memories, or whatever the fuck we feel like talking about. I'm Mr. Jason Roscom. With me here each and every single week, the cerebellum to my prefrontal cortex, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Jason.
How are you?
My prefrontal cortex is fucking exacerbated right now.
Yes, indeed. We had a great several minutes before we went live where you were trying furiously to remember something to talk about on the show, and never happened, huh?
Nope, did not.
Yeah.
But I have a nice note about it that says that other thing if I can think of it. So
between now and when we get to our weeks, so
which I probably won't. But it's fine.
Yeah, it's worth a shot, right?
Yeah, whatever.
At least you had the thought to put in the reminder, like, hey, if you do remember, talk about this thing.
Right.
If you do remember what this thing is.
That doesn't help.
No, it doesn't.
At all. If anything, it makes me feel worse about it.
Right.
But thanks for bringing it up.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for. So what are we talking about today?
I don't fucking know.
You don't?
Oh, no. It's fucking... it's like the... I'm going to move this up. Let's see. It's the 55th anniversary of Sgt. Pepper's.
Yeah, that doesn't come off nearly as well on the YouTube as it does to me right now. I mean, see, right now, I'm just looking at Dave's microphone pop filter. I can't see his face.
Wah, 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 wah.
It's very distracting.
Hang on. Ready?
Oh, my God. Oh, Jesus Christ.
This is going to be that kind of show, folks.
Yes.
Dave's brain is mush.
Yes, but as you were saying, it was 55 years ago today. Yeah, Sgt. Pepper was released. So we're gonna talk all about this very eclectic album. But before we do, we've got all kinds of business to take care of first.
Yes.
So should we start with Patreon?
Yes. You should start with Patreon.
All right then. Oh God.
See the camera, like the way the camera is today.
Yeah.
It's not as
disturbing. Impactful.
You see, it just makes my hand look smaller. So small.
So small.
So small.
If you're enjoying the Sidebar Cantina's content, consider becoming one of our Patreon supporters. For as little as $1 a month, you can support this podcast and help make it possible for us to continue to bring you quality content week after week.
Oh, see.
Jesus Christ. We'd like to give a huge shout out to our current patrons, Shotgun Mark, Frank Kalevich, Frederick Martin, Lord Helmet Fire.
Yes.
Jesus.
Yes.
Scott and Kim from the Used and Abused podcast.
Yes.
Ivo G.
Yes, it's Ivo G.
Kristen Roscom. Oh my God, I can't.
Come on. Keep talking.
Nick from Sweet Studios.
Oh, see.
Catherine Reddick. My wonderful mother-in-law, Patricia Goodstein.
Hello.
Don Solsky. Nicholas Schaefer.
Hi.
David.
What is wrong with you? Keep talking.
David Schmuck. Wally Frogmore. Tony Ferrari. Brady Biglovin. And Dragon Buddy.
Yes.
We appreciate each and every one of you. For our current Sidebar Cantina patrons, head on over to our Patreon page and comment on our latest post.
You need to commit.
Where we are
Commit to the read.
Where we are collecting statements from our patrons.
What is wrong with him?
That will be read live on air next week during our 250th episode.
Taco flavor kisses.
Dave and I.
Oh, Jason.
Dave and I will read every single comment verbatim that is posted there. So if there's anything you want to say through us, we will have no choice but to say it on our episode.
Yes, we will.
If you'd like to consider becoming a supporter, you can find us at patreon.com/thesidebarcantina. Thank you again to all of our listeners and supporters. You are the reason why we do this.
Oh, snaps are terrible.
For the love of God,
Aussie.
What are you doing to me?
Starting early.
Fucking hell.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you have anything Red 5 to talk about?
The top story is who wants to go to Chicago? You do. You, the listening audience. The countdown to ScarifCon is on, and we want you to join us there. July 23rd at Murray's Caddy Shack, and you will do it.
Oh, the fucking... If you don't touch it in a while, it goes away.
That's what she said. Do it! More Red 5 Network news after the show.
All right.
Oh,
So, Dave,
Jason.
do you know what was 20 years ago today?
Taco flavored kisses.
No. Well, it might have been. I don't know.
No, I saw that in the notes, and 20...
It shows just how poor we are at planning these things. Today is the 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones. Attack of the Clones was released 20 years ago today. And we totally fucking botched that when we were making our schedule.
Fuck!
We are the worst. I mean, we've already done like a full episode on Attack of the Clones, but still.
Right.
Like the only reason I knew is because I saw a bunch of shit on Facebook today. I'm like, oh, I guess today's the anniversary of that. I can't believe it was 20 fucking years ago. Like,
yeah, that is like...
because 2002 was only like 10 years ago, right?
Fuck.
Something like that.
That's not good.
Yeah.
20 years.
Yeah.
That's not...
Yeah, I could tell some stories about the day we went and saw that. We saw a midnight showing. Kristen was like 3 months pregnant with Rob. Bumped into my buddy Jim, Anal Jim,
Yes.
at the theater.
Oh, you know, Jim.
Yeah.
Oh, see.
But yeah, I can't fucking believe it's already been 20 years since
Yeah,
Attack of the
that's-
Clones came out.
Chocolate flavored kisses.
Yes, he does.
I saw it... Actually, was that the first time I saw it? I was on TDY in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I think was the first time I saw it.
For Attack of the Clones
Yeah,
in 02?
yeah. It was. We were out there for some radio school,
Right.
and it was in theaters. So, yeah, I saw that. We were out there for like a week. It was a very productive week. I saw 2 AAA baseball games. The Corn Huskers.
Mm-hmm.
Were they Corn Huskers or Corn something? I mean, it's fucking
Cornhole?
It was not whole.
Was not the whole.
Fuck. Colonels. No, it was the Colonels.
Okay.
The Cedar Rapids Colonels. I have a pennant. Anyway, so saw a couple of games from them. They had quarter beers. So there was this little bar in Cedar Rapids, right? Sidebar. For those of you playing a drinking game at home. It's like little corner bar. I mean, it was no wider than the studio, right? And it was all brick. Like
Nice.
all brick inside. It had like 2 floors somehow. And they had 25-cent beers from like 5 to 7.
I'll take 50, please.
So I think it was from 5 to 7. I don't even remember, because what would happen is we would get out of the course we were in, right, at fucking Rockwell Collins, and then fucking immediately like go get changed, fucking walk from the hotel to this fucking place and drink. And the beers were like this tall too.
Yeah.
For a quarter.
Like Bud Lights or something?
No, they were. It was like a brewery.
Oh,
So it
no
was like
shit.
their local shit
Wow.
for a fucking quarter.
That's great.
Fucked. Destination fucked.
Yeah.
And then, like, one of those nights, like, it was drink, go see Attack of the Clones. Then after Attack of the Clones was done, the fucking hotel had, like, nickel shot night or some fucking ridiculous thing.
God.
Oh, my God, dude. It was one of those non-flying TDYs where it was just, like, my liver, it was like...
To be young again.
Like, just shove my liver back up. Yeah, it was bad.
Be able to drink like that and live to see the next day.
Yeah, barely.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, Wally Frogmore's in the chat.
Oh, shit.
Then I guess I need to work on my Australian accent, like especially with Destination Fucked.
Oh, I love Ozzy Man.
Yeah,
he's hilarious.
fucking great. Him and his Cobra chickens. Colonels, Kernels, Colonels.
Okay.
Right? Why am I hung up on that?
I don't know. What
I
is
don't
wrong
either.
with you?
Fuck, dude. I'll tell you. We'll talk about why I'm fucked when we get to my week.
All right.
But yeah, so I saw Attack of the Clones in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, for the opening.
Nice. All right. So we do a segment on the show almost every week called This or That, where our social media director, Luna Girl, puts up a poll on our Instagram. And what is our Instagram, Dave?
Poll.
A poll, yeah.
Oh, no. It's at the Sidebar Cantina.
Yes. She gives you two options. You select an option, and we go over the results here on the show. This week, since we're talking about a Beatles track, she did a Beatles or British invasion music type of poll. So we're going to talk about it. So we start off Led Zeppelin versus The Who.
No question. Led Zeppelin.
Okay. I think I picked The Who. I really only like one song from each of them, and I think I like Teenage Wasteland more than Kashmir, so I picked The Who. But I'm not really committed to either band. They're just like, meh.
Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. Well, 69% of the people agreed with you. They voted for Led Zeppelin.
69.
Nice.
Nice.
Moving over to Twitter, however, Twitter went with The Who, 56% to 44%.
See, I think people just go with The Who because, like, oh,
Oh, the Who, it's like one of the greatest rock bands ever.
no, it's
I wouldn't.
not.
I wouldn't go that far.
No, it's not.
I just like the song Teenage
It's not.
Wasteland.
It's the same with the Stones. Rolling Stones, overrated. Overrated.
Fair enough. So, chill music. We've got the Moody Blues versus Fleetwood Mac. Like, for me, how is this any question? Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, they're one of the greatest bands fucking ever.
Yeah, Fleetwood Mac for sure.
But 24% of the people actually thought the Moody Blues, but Fleetwood Mac won with 76%. And they also won on Twitter by almost the same margin, 71 to 29.
Oh, see.
I'm probably going to get some shit for this, but which band is your jam? The Kinks versus The Clash? I don't know the difference between the two. I'm sure I'd recognize some of their songs, but I couldn't tell you one from the other.
So which one did you pick?
I think I didn't actually answer this one.
Why would you should just answer. Go with, like, the Kinks because it's kinky.
No.
No?
Yeah.
No, I can't do it.
I've just gotten into the habit of skipping ones where I just have no opinion or just don't know.
See, this is why this is like people like I need you. If this was blackjack, I need you to play the table. Don't just fucking just don't like, well, I don't like these cards. No. You have an obligation.
I'll stay.
Yeah,
I
see,
suggest you hit, sir.
yes.
20 beats your 5.
Exactly.
Anyway, the Clash won 55% to 45%.
Yeah.
And they won by a larger margin on Twitter, 67 to 33. Oh, this is a good one. The Cure versus Duran Duran. For me, this was a no-brainer also.
I like Duran Duran better.
Same, yeah. Like, I loved Duran Duran back in the 80s. Like, as a kid, growing up, like, all of their fucking 80s songs I fucking loved. I liked a lot of their 90s stuff. But this one was a dead heat, 50%.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the tie. I was like, huh. If only one more person had played this week.
Had actually voted, right?
But then we wouldn't get a 69.
Right.
So,
Conundrum.
yeah, it is. It's a tough one.
Well,
But I get it. Like, because especially growing up, like, our generation, there was a lot of the kind of the emo skater crowd that was more into The Cure because of that, like, just kind of that vibe. And then Duran Duran was way more poppy, I guess. So it kind of was this dividing line.
yeah, which you know me, I'm more poppy than like emo, so.
Yeah, and I just never really got into The Cure. I mean, I hung around with those people. That's kind of like I was the skater kid. I was one of the skater kids.
I just didn't like their music.
It was okay. I just never. I liked stuff Duran Duran did better.
Yeah.
I had actual EPs from Duran Duran. So.
Yeah. Twitter, the Duran Duran broke the tie on Twitter, 55% to 45%. Then you spoke of the Rolling Stones earlier. We've got the Rolling Stones versus Pink Floyd. Like, for me, Pink Floyd, hands down. Like, no fucking question.
Yeah.
Like, I like the Stones. I like a lot of their songs. I'm not some hardcore crazy Stones fan like you were talking about before, but fuck, I love Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd's. I would pick Pink Floyd.
Yeah, like even outside of Dark Side of the Moon, which is another just fucking unbelievable album, they've got some really, really good shit.
Yeah, and it's two completely different sounds, honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, comparing them and the Stones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Stones is just very meh. Like to me, the Stones is very like, you know, Walmart music. Honestly,
Yeah.
like it is off the shelf Walmart. Like
This is what rock and roll is supposed to sound like.
I don't like whatever.
Yeah.
They have longevity. Cool.
Indeed, they do.
Yeah. Way to go doing all those drugs to preserve yourselves.
I know. How is Keith Richards still alive at this point?
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
It's got to be. And then, Pink Floyd won, by the way, 58% to 42%, and almost by the same margin on Twitter, 60 to 40. So that was this week's This or That. So thank you again to our social media director, Lunar Girl.
Lunar Girl's the best.
Indeed, she is. So, do we want to get into our weeks?
Yes.
All right. So today, I started the first of 11 work days in a row because I have to work this weekend.
You almost 30 dozen.
Yep. But at the end of those 11 days, I will no longer be wearing the Air Force uniform. That will be it for me. So a week from Thursday, I'm done. And I'm still having trouble believing this is actually happening.
Yeah, well, I mean, how much of your out processing checklist have you actually gone through?
Can you have less than 0% of something done?
Jesus Christ, Jason.
Yeah, it's all going to work itself out.
Do I have to go over there and just arm bar you into to fucking get this shit done?
You might have to.
Oh my god.
Well, it's a fucking busy week that I've got going on right now too. So, like, trust me, they're getting their money's worth out of me. As I'm heading out the door. Don't look at me like that. He's being so judgmental right now, and he's not even saying a word. Oh my god. I don't know what's going on right now. But yes, I'm starting an 11-day stretch of work, which culminates in my last day in military uniform.
No, it won't be because you haven't out processed, you dumb fuck.
I've got a plan, all right? It's all
Really?
going to work itself out.
Really, this plan is to fucking allow them to work you to the last possible moment, and then you sell back all your leave because you're a fucking idiot.
How dare you? Whatever. I'm not going to get into this right now. Just know that 11 days from now, I'll be done with the Air Force. You need to stop.
I'm going to literally go there and fucking drag you out.
All right, that's fine. So I was all ready to come in here today and be like, oh, I've lost all this weight. I had 3 people in the last week tell me that I look like I've lost a lot of weight, 2 of which were women. So I was like feeling really good about myself. And then I ate 4 Krispy Kreme donuts today. And now I don't feel so good.
And didn't save any for me, you bastard.
Yeah, well, as part of this,
bastard.
as part of this 11-day work week that nice shot. This 11-day work week that I have coming up, it's like we're bringing in all of our people, our normal like 1 weekend a monthers. They're all in for the next 2 weeks straight also. And I wanted to start it off by getting Krispy Kreme. So I went down to the only Krispy Kreme in New Jersey, just up the road here in Haddonfield, got 4 dozen fucking donuts, took them in. I was a hero.
Just regular, or did you get
Well,
some
I got 2 dozen glazed, and then I got a bunch of assorted ones.
chocolate covered cream filled, man.
Those are good, and they're raspberry filled. They're fucking phenomenal as well. And the temptation was too much, and I had 4 donuts today.
Forbidden donut.
Yeah, and now I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
but it was good at the time.
Fucking delicious.
Oh, it was incredible, especially since I've been kind of like watching what I eat lately.
Right.
So when you get that first taste, once it hits your lips,
Yes. Yeah. Oh my god.
yeah,
It's tough to have a bad donut. It really is. I've had moments where even the plain donut has been like, wow, this is actually good.
yeah.
Just terrible. Like not with coffee or anything to dip it in, just a plain donut. And I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a sickness. It really is. I can't describe it any other way. It's just a sickness.
Yep. And then during the middle of my week, which is going to be a great segue into yours.
Oh yeah.
I was at the BX on base, which if you're not familiar with the military lingo, BX is the base exchange. It's basically like a Walmart on a military base,
Right.
where you don't pay tax and get some other benefits. And on the shelf, first time I have seen this since they came out was an Xbox Series X sitting on the fucking shelf in the store in the almost 2 years that it's been out. Yes, exactly. And like I immediately texted you. I like took a picture. I'm like, BX has Xboxes.
Yeah, and I was sitting at dinner because my wife had just we just come from her graduation ceremony.
Yeah. Which congratulations, Kathy.
Yes. And she's amazing. And she graduated summa cum laude, and it was fucking great.
Yep.
It was a great day. And we're sitting there, and I get the text from Jason, and I'm like, fuck. And I'm like, how much is it? And she sees
and
me.
I didn't realize he was with Kathy at the time.
Yeah, and we're going back and forth, and she's like sitting right to my right. She's like, well, what you doing? I'm like, Jason found an Xbox, and he's like, well, how much is it? And I texted him like how much it was, and then she's like, well, why don't you just get it? I'm like, huh?
Huh?
Say what now? And then so we fucking Jason graciously fucking picked it up for me, and listen, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't really had time to play it.
Naturally. Mr. Master's degree.
But the little bit that I did get to play, and I'll talk about a little bit of my week here in a second, but the little bit I did get to play, it's like, it's not even close. Like the Xbox One, I thought was like, oh yeah, I'm keeping up with everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put this thing online. I don't know what I was thinking. the poor fucking gerbils that were running in circles to keep that Xbox One running for this long.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad they can go ahead and rest poor animals, because now the new hotness is in town, and holy fuck if it's not amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's I don't know what I did without it. So yes, it is a spectacular thing.
Nice. And yeah, when Dave texted me, he's like, okay, can you go ahead and pick it up? My first response was, is it okay with Kathy? Because that's the last thing I want coming down on me is like getting this thing for you without her knowing, and then feeling the wrath.
Right.
So,
which she was very grateful for.
Yes.
That you were looking out for, the best interest of everyone.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, it was awesome, and I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah.
It was an early Father's Day gift for me, and
is Father's Day soon?
Next month.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be a reason, right? You can't just fucking spend that kind of money.
Yeah.
For no reason, allegedly. But yeah, I can't wait to actually spend more than a few minutes actually enjoying it and getting to play more of the games on it. But yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Awesome.
We need to get you back online.
I mean, mine's set up and everything. It's just a matter of, again, finding the time to play.
Yeah,
that's always the question. But yeah, that was pretty much my week. So what about you there, sir?
So Xbox, I did play a little bit of Battlefront with the Xbox. That was kind of the test.
Right.
That was the
Battlefront 2015.
Yes.
Let's not get it twisted.
The best Battlefront.
Yeah.
And what I thought was fucking amazing was so much better with the Xbox X. I mean, it booted up so fucking fast, dude.
Oh yeah.
Like I could not believe it. I just could not believe how much faster it booted up. I was like, I'm on the same internet connection. It's completely in the graphics and the processor.
Yeah.
Because 2015, this game was so far ahead of itself, like with its level of graphics and everything else, that it took this level of processor to fucking make it.
Yeah, when we were both playing on the regular Xbox One, it took forever to fucking load levels, right? And then eventually, once I upgraded to the Xbox One S, I started loading a lot faster, because when we'd be playing together, I'd be like, all right, I'm already in the map. You're like, I'm still fucking loading. What the fuck? And then when I moved to the Xbox X, then it was like that.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I've still got like 5 minutes. Yeah, still got like 5 minutes of loading to go.
Yeah, and so this was, you didn't even have time to go take a piss. It was like so quick in between the things, and I was just dumbfounded. And the graphics are phenomenal. And oh, by the way, there's still people like at 10 o'clock at night on a random fucking Thursday. I could jump into a blast map full. Full.
Yeah.
No wait. No line, no waiting.
A testament to how good that game was.
Yeah, it's just so good. So
good.
So
So small.
but not small at all. So yeah, that was aside from seeing my wife walk. I also saw my sister. She walked. She got her degree this week as well. So all kinds of
Nice.
good stuff there. Um, then yeah, you were talking about, dude. I had 2 papers due this past week. I think I talked about it last week. How I was like kind of dreading it.
Yeah.
And holy fuck, it's if you can imagine like a tube of toothpaste, right? And you know how you get to like the very very dregs of it. Like I'm going to squeeze every last little fucking little bit out of this thing.
So I put it like on the thing, and then I get my toothbrush and I fucking like wring the last of it out.
I do the roll bit, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm like ringing and pushing it down, ringing and pushing it down. Well, that was my fucking brain. By 4 o'clock yesterday, I had written 2 papers. One of them was what I think was actually a very very good paper. I just don't think it was about the right thing, which I am want to do. Like I've done it a couple times because these weekly papers. And this week with 2 papers, 1 cup, it just like I wrote this paper, and by 4 o'clock yesterday, my brain was so done. I'm like, fuck it, I'm submitting it. And then later on, when I was sitting down, I'm trying to like enjoy some Xbox time because I had a free moment, and I'm thinking about the paper. I'm like, I don't think I wrote a single thing about cognitive psychology in that entire paper.
And that's what you were supposed to write about?
Yep, 13 pages.
Wow.
Don't think I just maybe 1 or 2 things. So we'll see. We'll see what the grade turns out. It's only 30. That one paper is only 35% of my grade. So what could possibly go wrong?
Do you really want me to say?
No, I
Okay.
do not. Do not. I'm well aware of that math.
All right. Fair enough.
But I got it done. Fucking, I took several days off last week to get it done, just because I needed it.
Where the fuck do you get all this vacation time at work?
I get sick time.
Oh.
So I have vacation time. Like I took vacation time or I took leave for Kathy's graduation, but then I just used some of my sick time. I've got a fuck ton of sick time blocked off.
I got COVID again. Sorry, I can't come in.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going around.
Yeah.
Like, spoiler alert, COVID's fucking going around. I know we just had a rash of it at work. People are starting to come back.
Oh, really?
I know a handful of people out in the ether, like out there in the world, that have gotten it. We had a dinner last night for Lodge, and we had like half a dozen people have to cancel out because they had tested positive.
Fuck.
So it's out there. It's out and about. So stay safe.
Yeah, at this point, I just don't think it's going away. Just protect yourself.
No, it's just the one of the guys at work. He fucking like I mentioned it. I think we mentioned it offline. We were talking about like stupid airman tricks, and you know they went to Coachella, right? No mask, no nothing. And
Yeah.
comes back and it has COVID. Like, oh, shocking.
Yeah, inner shocked Pikachu
Yeah,
meme.
yeah, exactly. Here's your super spreader event, and
Yeah.
you know, you come back and you have COVID. It's fucking duh.
I mean, at this point, just get the fucking vaccine, and so you don't die when you get COVID, and then
Yeah.
just accept that you're probably going to get it at some point.
So you have a few days of suck, and then hopefully you get better.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Still couldn't think of that other thing, but I have one little fucking tirade,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of sports related, but not. I'm going to keep it general.
Okay.
Came in this morning and kind of turned on. You know, we have a big TV that we have an Apple TV hooked up to, so I put on Sports Center because I don't like the news. I'd rather have the sports reruns going in the background.
Yeah, because the news, like the daily news cycle on repeat, which they used to do that in the office we worked in back in the day. I fucking hated it because you like over the course of like 45 minutes, they'd spew the same shit over and over on a loop.
It's just
And I'd rather just see sports highlights, the same sports highlights.
yeah, which is what we did.
Yeah.
So today, right, there apparently a bunch of shit happened in the NBA that I don't really give a fuck about, and they had on this one particular show, they had like 4 people on there. They have a female host, right, who doesn't really say much. She's there to fucking keep the show moving.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen A. Smith, right, who is
Everybody's favorite.
who I can't fucking stand. Who I haven't liked him since he was writing for the Philly Inquirer.
Mm-hmm. You may have mentioned that a time or two.
Fuck that guy, right? And that's going to become a more interesting point here in a second.
Sure.
And then they had JJ Redick, who is he played for the Sixers for a little bit. He played for Duke, one of the more famous Duke basketball players.
Okay.
But a professional basketball player, right?
Yeah.
Who's since retired. And then they had somebody who was on an active NBA roster from the Timberwolves, whose name's escaping me right now. I think Beverly.
Okay.
So they have 2 professional basketball players
Yes.
on this panel.
One current, one former.
Right. 2 basketball players.
Mm-hmm.
And then Stephen A. Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And Stephen A. Smith is trying to tell these 2 how basketball works. Like literally, and I'm watching this, the one guy, Beverly, he's like, I'm watching it on his face that he just wants to fucking get up and just punch. Like, I want it so bad. I want to watch him get up and use Stephen A. Smith like a fucking punching bag. Because you just see it on his face like, dude, motherfucker, like you were saying the dumbest shit. Like, these guys lived in that league, right?
Mm-hmm.
This motherfucker never put up a shot in any fucking sport, worth of shit.
Right.
Never anything professional. All he is a writer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, you probably know a lot about sports, and I'm not saying every athlete knows everything about their sport, because there's plenty of coaches there's plenty of players that don't make good coaches.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
You know all about that, right? As a 49ers fan.
Wow.
You do. Am I wrong?
I mean,
Michael Singletary was not
yeah,
the best coach.
No, not at all.
But a very, very good player.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because
And Jim Harbaugh wasn't a good player, but he was a great coach. Go figure.
In some alternate universe, maybe. in a place of infinite fucking universes, but I don't want to talk about that.
All right.
So anyway, I'm just watching these players listen to fucking Stephen A. Smith try and tell them what's going on in the fucking NBA.
Mm-hmm.
As these NBA players are trying to tell the people like what is going on.
Right.
And I'm like, at some point, this motherfucker just has to shut the fuck up.
Right.
Like, dude, just shut your fucking mouth. And this is like a microcosm of Philly sports, to be honest. Like, I know people talk shit about Philly sports all the time, but there's like, if you listen to Philly sports media, and you get these fucking idiots that call in that think they know, like they'll call in and they'll be talking to like a guy who is a relief pitcher for the Phillies, and they'll try and explain the game to this guy who's fucking pitching for the team
Right.
a fucking season ago. Like, I'm pretty sure this dude knows like what's going on in the locker room and can speak knowledgeably about like what was going on with the coaching and everything else. Like, trying to tell that individual what was going on just to sensationalize it to make you seem like you're fucking smarter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't fucking stand that shit. Like, I know a lot I know a lot about sports. I'll never fucking sit there across from a professional athlete and pretend like I know more than that guy does, because he fucking did it.
Mm-hmm.
He went out there, he fucking was able to perform at that level. Something I would never be able to do. And I respect the shit out of that. And even though if you're not the smartest fucking guy on that team, then you might not be able to coach. You have to give the dude lived in that environment. And if that guy tells you like, oh, well, this guy's going to go make fucking, 5 years, $200 million because that's what the industry is like. Having you fucking flap your stupid face and say that like, oh, well, this is the stupidest thing ever. Like, motherfucker, that's what the league is. I'm telling you, that's what's going to fucking happen. Like, this is stupid. No, it's not.
When
Like,
you say flapping head, I just think South Park and
right,
fucking
and
Terrence
fucking
Phillips.
Canadians.
With your beady eyes and your flapping heads.
But fucking Stephen A. Smith, like, I was mesmerized for fucking 10 minutes watching this player, because you could tell he was uncomfortable. Like, he's a ball player. Like, he's an active ball. He's not he's not on TV all the time.
And he's like, I could kill you
Yes.
right now where
He's
you
like,
sit.
He's been on TV all fucking morning listening to these fucking idiots say shit they don't know anything to fuck about. And at some point, you just got to be fucking sick of it. And I'd be like, fuck you, fuck these fucking idiots watching, fuck you, I'm out.
Yeah.
And just fucking leave. Like, and then push Stephen A. Smith, like like on the high horse that he's on, just fucking push him over.
Yeah.
And just like fucking falls live on television. That would be fucking fantastic. But I can't stand that shit. Like these motherfuckers coming up to somebody that's in their profession and trying to tell them like, oh, well, this is how your job is. People do that shit with the military all the time. I mean, you've had it done to you. I'm 100% certain of it. Like somebody comes up and they know about your life.
Right.
Like they know what the military is like because they saw some shit on TV. Oh, well, I watched 2 seasons of NCIS, so I know exactly what happens with this. You know, like I'm in the Air Force, first of all. NCIS is the Navy. So you don't know shit. And that none of that's real, by the way. Yeah. None of that is real, people. There's no like fucking like like Magnum PI fucking NCIS fucking bullshit, all those goddamn shows. Stop watching it. Stop watching it. Please, for the love of God.
Yeah.
Anyway. I'm done.
All right.
I'm done. I have a headache.
Drink some Diet Coke, you'll feel better.
Diet Coke makes everything better.
Apparently.
Oh, see.
And that's everything for your week?
Stephen A. Smith is a cocksucker. He's like, I think it's better on Jason's screen. Oh, I like it better over here. See my tan? Oh.
You need to get some like little...
I need the eyes.
The eyes, the googly eye stickers.
I need googly eyes.
You know, like a pen and
I
make
need some googly eyes. I can't say googly. Googly? Googly.
If you're only listening to the audio version of this episode,
it's googly. Googly eyes.
You're missing a lot of context here, but
googly eyes.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, do you need a break or anything before we get into our main topic? All right. So, as we said, it was 55 years ago today, or this month, that Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band came out.
Right.
I'm
just gonna say this right up front.
Okay.
Right up front.
Sure.
I was excited about this topic when we first talked about it because I like the Beatles.
Yeah, we made these arrangements last year when we knew that this year was an anniversary.
This was one of those that's like, boink.
Yeah. Put a pin in that. We know next May is the anniversary, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So, and I was excited about it. I like a fair amount of Beatles music. And, like, listening to it after the Tool episode, like, the contrast in
such
music
a stark difference
was like...
Well,
wow.
And I have a note at the end too, because Helmet Fire brought this up last week when we were doing the Tool episode about how he says Tool is better than the Beatles and all that.
Well, let's save that conversation for the end.
We'll put a pin in that. But yes, very stark contrast. And we normally don't do 2 music episodes in a row, but it's just kind of the way it felt.
In a row?
Yeah. Hold on.
I'm 37?
Wait.
No.
37. My girlfriend sucked 37 dicks.
In a row?
Yeah. So... we normally don't do back-to-back music episodes, but because of the way things kind of fell, the fact that Obi-Wan is next week, right? No, our 250th is next week,
right? And
then Obi-Wan after that. So we wanted to get Sgt. Pepper in this month.
Top Gun, and then
more Obi-Wan, and just
other stuff.
Yeah. So really, it just
all the plans for. I mean, we have everything planned out for like months and months. Like our stuff is so well planned out. Like you can't even know.
It's like we don't know what we're doing in the future.
It's so well planned out. It's like we don't even know.
Yeah.
It's like a surprise.
Right.
It's like a pleasant surprise. It's kind of like, oh wow, look at how well we planned that out.
Yeah. But that's why we employ Lunar Girl, because she reminds us about once a month. Jesus Christ.
I need the googly eyes. He needs the googly eyes.
So whenever we talk about something like this, we get into our history first. So I will start. Before 2004-2005 time frame, I despised the Beatles. I wanted nothing to do with the Beatles. Had no desire to ever listen to their music because I always associated with them with the early Beatles, like the early like super pop, teeny bopper, British Invasion, girls screaming kind of Beatles, the Shake It Up, the "Shake It Up, Baby" now, which I know is associated with Ferris Bueller,
Right,
but still,
right.
the "She Loves You," yeah, 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 just all the upbeat poppy shit that they did in their first like 3 albums. And I didn't know much about anything they did after that. So I was just like, no, Beatles, fucking keep that shit away from me, until the early 2000s when a friend of mine, the same friend who introduced me to Pet Sounds.
Oh, I was gonna say anal guy.
No, different guy. The guy that won't speak to me anymore because of politics.
Oh, chocolate kisses.
No, that's oh yeah, never mind.
But
I have
anyway,
to come up with something different for that.
But anyway, so, and of course he introduced these to me out of order too. Like he had me listen to the Beatles first before introducing me to Pet Sounds, which, as we start to get into how this whole album came about, Pet Sounds begat Sgt. Pepper, but
Right.
we'll get into that. So anyway, for me, like I refused to listen to the Beatles for the longest time until he's like, dude, you want to listen to their like LSD dropping, just fucking crazy off the wall, drug infused album. Start with Sgt. Pepper. And if you can stomach that, then we'll keep it going. And of course I listened to it, and right from the get go, I'm like, ooh, okay, this is something I can do. And then I got more into it and started actually giving them a chance. I was talking to my mom a couple days ago. Oh, sidebar. So I'm on the phone with my mom a couple nights ago, and she's like, I was watching the podcast earlier this week. She's like, I saw Big Swede was on there. I'm like, okay. She's like, he's a good looking guy. She's like, I like him. And I'm like, oh, I'm sure he'll love to hear that.
Yeah, where you
But,
at, Big Swede?
Yeah, but she was like gushing all over fucking Nick as we were talking. She's like, he's in a band. You know how much I like that? I'm like, yes, Mom, I know. So yeah, she commented a few times about how much she liked Nick. So
Oh, that's so funny.
yeah. But anyway, we were talking about Sgt. Pepper. And when this came out, she was 7 or 8 at the time. And she was the second youngest in her family. She had like fucking 8 siblings. And I'm not even bullshitting. My grandmother had a lot of kids. And she was the second youngest. So all of her siblings were all like older than her. So when she was 7 or 8, she had siblings from like, 13 all the way to 23 kind of thing.
Wow.
So she said, like, as soon as Sgt. Pepper came out, one of her siblings bought that album, and it was always in their house. And she said she could remember holding the record and just how colorful and bright the cover was, and with them in the bright band clothes and like all the historical figures behind them.
Right.
But yeah, she said she always remembers having that album in the house, hearing it from as soon as it came out, and yeah, she said it was huge at the time when, she was that age. So I thought that was worth bringing up. Also, my oldest memory, like ever in life, for as long as I could remember, I have this memory of being like 3 years old and watching a movie. And it was a movie about a band that kind of looked like the Bee Gees. And there was this girl who was like the main girl in it. Her name was Strawberry. And at some point, this girl died and ended up in like a glass casket. And I'm like, for years, I have this memory ingrained in my brain. And like, again, it was from when I was like 3 years old or something like that. And for years and years, I'm like, what the fuck was that movie that I'm like thinking back to and remembering? Come to find out, my friend gets me listening to the Sgt. Pepper album, and he's like, oh, have you ever seen the movie? Kind of like asking me jokingly. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, the movie Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, they made a movie in the fucking 70s, starred the Bee Gees. I'm like, hang on. Fucking go over to the computer. I'm like, holy shit, that's the fucking movie I remember seeing when I was like 3. And I asked my mom about this. She's like, yeah, you remember that? She's like, yeah, me and my 2 friends took you to see it when you were like a fucking toddler. And I'm like, yes, I remember seeing this fucking movie that had the Bee Gees in it. And, this girl named Strawberry and Casket and all that. She's like, yeah, that was the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band movie that they made in the fucking 70s.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a fucking weird thing to have jammed in there in your fuck. It's a weird penguin to have fucking swimming around.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. Well, I mean, everybody's memory has to start somewhere, right? That's where mine starts, as some fucking toddler watching this weird ass movie. And we'll kind of touch on it a little bit as we go along the movie itself. But yeah, that was kind of my history with Sergeant Pepper and the Beatles, and then we're gonna get into more Beatles stuff outside of Sergeant Pepper as we get going along. But let's get into your spiel.
My spiel isn't very long.
Okay.
I mean, my memory really is of hearing it.
My penis so smooth.
So smooth. Hearing it on the, being played on the hi-fi in the house, seeing the album cover, because it was a very, very unique album cover.
Yeah.
Compared to a lot of the album covers, and it was always kind of towards the end because it was one of the ones that was more frequently played. Because my parents had fucking tons of records. Like the entertainment center we had was probably as wide as this is, with the TV setup in the middle, and you had albums going from one side of like this to the other, and then same with the other side. Like it was just all filled with albums. So I remember it from that, and then certain songs, like we'll get into from the album, certain songs got a lot of airplay on MMR. And again, this is where when we talk about music, especially, I can't mention it enough that the advantage of being in a big market city and having so many like rock music outlets, we had 2 big ones at the time. That's what she said. Wait, what?
My penis so smooth.
We needed That's What She Said drop.
We do.
But yeah, I know listening to MMR, that's what my dad mainly listened to. They played stuff off of Sgt. Pepper's all the time, and that was like sitting in the car, is like sitting in the back of our fucking Ford Fairmont, the '78 Ford Fairmont, and hearing like different Sgt. Pepper songs. That's kind of like a memory of it.
Yeah,
and then kind of listening to Beatles stuff as I was older and appreciating it more. And listening to like I'll be honest, when we get to a lot of these songs, like there's some of them that I just like, ugh, God, all right.
Yeah, it kind of slows down in the middle a little bit.
Yeah, but there's a couple of these that I was like listening to it for the show. I'm like, oh man, I forgot how good some of this music is, and it caused me to re-download a lot of other Beatles stuff that I hadn't listened to in a while. So,
yeah.
Anyway, that's it. Like no fucking 3-year-old memory of being in the fucking movies. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So first I want to get started off with talking about, because every time we do a music episode like this, we talk about like digging into Apple Music and the spoiled nature of where we are in our lives at this point. It's like, I want to listen to something, bink, bink, and I can just listen to it automatically.
Right.
It's that fucking easy with Apple Music and things like that. I'm very disappointed in the version of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band that Apple Music has, because if you listen to the first 3 tracks, they're remixes, as they call them in Apple Music, and it doesn't do the shifting from the left to the right speaker the way that the song actually plays when you listen to it in stereo. Because especially if you listen to the first song, the title track, and it's gearing up. You hear the horns. It's going back and forth from left to right in your fucking ears. Even when Paul is singing parts of that first song, his voice is going back and forth from left to right if you're listening to it in true stereo. Whereas in the Apple Music, they just put it all the music through both sides. For someone who's sort of a music purist, as I've been in my latter years.
So were you listening to it via Bluetooth, or were you listening to it like were you?
I was listening to it with my AirPods.
Yeah, I don't know. See, now I'm thinking about it. I have to in the car. Ever since I think we talked about this last week.
You've been doing the cable hookup.
Yeah, cable hookup. I know listening to certain songs, there was definitely you could hear the channel changes,
right?
Like where it goes left to right.
Yeah. So you were able to hear that? You're saying?
Yeah.
Huh.
Because I was plugged in.
Yeah,
because it's Dolby Atmos, lossless, like the whole shooting match.
Yeah.
Like it definitely there is a difference. Like I've proven it through different albums with Tool and now with the Beatles and with Foo Fighters and some other stuff. There's definitely a sound difference when you're listening to it over to Bluetooth and then plugged in directly. Like especially in my car,
right?
Because my car's got a decent fucking sound system in it.
Huh.
And when it's plugged in, completely different music experience.
Right.
So it may just be that. It might be.
Yeah, I wonder if it was because I was the AirPods. Maybe they do something with the AirPods where it kind of blocks out like the shifting of the channels.
It may not, maybe just the way the Bluetooth is, and because it's two independent fucking.
Oh, right.
You know,
right.
like it's not broadcasting
Oh,
the same way.
that could be
to
it.
Like it's.
Huh.
It's not.
Now I got to fucking test that with some other albums that I know have that shift in the stereo sound.
Do like Bohemian Rhapsody or something.
Oh yeah, they're a perfect example. Little high, little low.
Yep.
You know, you get the left and the fucking right.
Yep.
So, oh man, okay. Well, all right, I might not have as much of a critique of Apple Music after all. So
Yeah, I just saw that note. I'm like, I was like, I saw the remix bit, and that kind of threw me off a little bit because I was like, I don't want remixes. I want to like I kind of want to hear the original album.
right, yeah.
Like, so I wasn't really sure what I was missing, but I didn't dig hard enough to find like an original like recording.
Yeah, me either. Even though I have it, I've got like an original CD somewhere. I've got like a fucking burned. They call them DTS CDs, I think, where they do it in like full surround sound. But I didn't want to go digging in the fucking garage when it's like Apple Music right here.
Yep.
Just go click, click, and boom, you've got it.
Yep.
But
Click, click, boom.
and other than the change in the stereo sound, the songs all seem the same, even though they're called remixes. Because, you know, they do remasters of songs every decade, it seems like. You know, every 10-year anniversary, the new 2020 remaster of Metallica's Black Album or whatever. And it's the same fucking album. They just kind of clean it up a little bit.
Yeah. Well, as they should.
Yeah.
Like, take that magnetic tape and fucking, you know, just figure out how to get more the fuck out of it. Like, for sure.
Yeah. So a few fun facts of the album that I wanted to talk about. Apparently, this was the first album in history to have the lyrics printed on the fucking album sleeve.
Yeah, I saw that. It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
It's weird to think about that. It had to. I would have thought it would have happened sooner.
Yeah, same.
Than 1967, but
Especially with the way, you know, conservatives were so concerned about music back in the day, where, you know, they really were, like, even with this album, it got so much flack from conservative groups because they thought that they were like every song was about drugs. I think every song was about drugs, but you know, they picked apart the lyrics and they're like, oh, when they're talking about Henry the horse, what they're really talking about is the horse is the euphemism for some fucking drug, heroin or whatever. And, but yeah, you would think that they'd almost mandate lyrics be printed on fucking albums to prove that, you know, you weren't talking about something dirty or drugs or whatever.
yeah. But sometimes even printed, it doesn't look like, you know.
Yeah.
If anything, it just justifies like, look, here's the word.
Right.
What do you think that word means?
Well, yeah, and if you read the lyrics for Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, you're like, what the fuck was this guy smoking when he wrote
Yeah,
this?
none of this makes any sense
Yeah.
whatsoever.
But yeah, first time that lyrics had been printed on the album sleeve, which was kind of surprising to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I only just learned this a couple days ago.
There has to be a first. And
Yeah.
strange that it was this.
Yeah. Apparently, George and Ringo were both very bored during the recording of this album because I know John and Paul were doing a majority of the writing. They were doing a majority of the instrument experimentation, and Ringo and George were just kind of like hanging out, kind of practicing some of their instruments and stuff. And apparently Ringo learned to play chess during the
nice.
recording of this album because he was looking for some extra shit to do.
This is boring. I'm looking for excuses to fucking play the kazoo at this point.
It's allegedly, oh my god, yeah, it's weird. Apparently, this was the first album to use banding on all the songs. Banding is where they mix the music to where the songs sound like they flow from one straight into the other. Great example is the first two tracks,
Right.
where they go to the people cheering, then right into Billy Shears, and they roll right into it with no break in the track. Whereas if you listen to it like on a CD player that either skips or if it's on like a fucking shuffle, you can see that break.
Yep.
That like just
It just
abruptly
it's
interrupts.
awkward.
Yeah.
It's like a super like.
Yeah.
it's jarring.
Because they wanted to give the whole album a feel like the whole thing was running together. But since then, it's used all the time. Like Dark Side of the Moon is a fucking fantastic example of something that's used that, since Sergeant Pepper.
I just looked at this.
What? Something in the chat?
I forgot to change the logo. like legitimately, like podcast day, I'm trying to get ready for the show. I'm not, like, it takes.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we're
Sorry.
always scrambling right up to recording time, and there's almost no free time. Listen to us talk about our weeks. It's a lot of just like fucking, I did this, and this, and then now here we are recording the show again.
God damn it. So small.
Yeah,
So small.
we're special. We're the special podcast in the Red 5 network.
Right. Helmet special.
Short bus
Yes.
and helmets.
Window licking.
Yeah, that's what we do.
This, you know what that reminds me of? Blue's Clues.
Oh yeah.
We are looking for Blue's Clues. Because that's a really fun game.
Yeah, my kids watched a lot of Blue's Clues when they were growing up. I'm sure yours did too.
Yeah.
Because that's how you know those songs, right?
Yeah, it was on. Like Steve's fucking.
I know a lot of Blue's Clues. I know a lot of who are the fucking the Australian quartet?
See, I didn't know those guys.
The Wiggles.
The way, I wasn't.
Yeah.
The Wiggles weren't on. In
I
the
know.
house.
I
And
know
if they
all
were,
about the
I
Wiggles. I know all about Yo Gabba Gabba.
See, my kids are older than yours.
Yeah. What was the other one? Tinky Winky, Dixie, La La, Po,
The
Teletubbies. Yes, Teletubbies. Yeah, I know.
Say hello.
Yeah. It's just like, you talk about people on fucking drugs.
Tipsy Whoopsie.
Yeah, what the fuck were these people smoking when they came up with this cartoon idea or show idea? Exactly. So anyway, some more fun facts about this album.
Tipsy Whoopsie.
So even though it was the highest selling album worldwide and especially in the UK, not the highest selling album in the US that year.
This makes me smile.
Yeah,
Honestly.
and I think it was the Jimi Hendrix debut album was the highest selling album in the US, the Jimi Hendrix Experience.
Right.
Some other notable fucking releases that year, besides Jimi Hendrix, The Doors debuted. Now I know you're not a known fan of The Doors, which I don't understand. I fucking love The Doors. Like, I love that sound and that vibe, but I'll never quite understand why you don't, but whatever.
This is like literally nothing.
Yeah.
They've got nothing over here.
Oh,
I don't even know enough to make fun of it.
yeah, and it wasn't Jimi Hendrix, it was the Monkees.
The Monkees.
The Monkees
Yes.
fucking dominated the US that year.
I love the Monkees.
They set a record that year that has still yet to be broken. They had 4 different albums all hit #1 in the US in 1967.
I love it. I love it. The Monkees were the fucking best. We should do a Monkees. I love the Monkees.
That's one I just don't understand. I don't know if I'll ever understand it, but
Exposure.
well, see, and that the thing too is my only exposure to them was that fucking TV show they had on it, Nick at Night. Remember Nickelodeon had the Nick at Night where they did like fucking TV shows and stuff, and they replayed episodes of the Monkees. That was the only exposure I ever had to them, and I thought it was fucking stupid, and I wanted to watch like good TV on
I don't know. I just
Nickelodeon
remember
and not the
music.
Monkees.
I hardly remember the show at all.
Yeah,
I just remember the music.
yeah.
I had albums. I had Monkees albums.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna have to put a pin in this because obviously I'm missing something. Because even in the chat, as soon as I brought up the Monkees, everybody's like, "I love the Monkees."
Yeah. When I saw her face,
So we're gonna have
I'm a
to.
believer.
We're just gonna have to continue my music education, I guess.
I think it's one of those where you just have to, like, as we're talking about the Beatles, right? There was always this, because of the show. I think so many people wanted to make the Monkees like satirical to the Beatles.
Right, and that's what
Where-
I thought they were. I thought it
Yeah.
was like a parody. Like, I thought
Yeah.
legitimately they were just like, let's put together this band that looks and sounds like the Beatles. We'll make a big joke out of it. That's how I always envisioned they had come into being. I didn't know they were a legit band.
I would venture to guess if I had to list I had to list the songs, I mean, that'd be tough because Beatles have a lot more music, but I would.
Wally agrees with me though. He says, "Fuck the monkeys."
Well, he's from Australia.
Isn't that how AIDS came into being though? People fucking monkeys. They got so bored their own assholes weren't enough.
Oh, see.
Yeah, they go into the fucking jungle and grab some fucking monkey and. Anyway,
With a monkey.
all right. So anyway, getting back to the topic at hand. 67, the Monkees fucking dominated the charts in the U.S., but we also had the Jimi Hendrix Experience was one of the highest selling albums. The Doors debut album, Pink Floyd debuted in 67. So all notable debuts that year.
What a time to be in music.
I know, right? Problem?
Something flew by me.
Oh, bugs. So even though Sgt. Pepper is the highest selling Beatles album of all time, when we talked about Pet Sounds, we talked about this Rolling Stone, like 100 greatest albums of all time, right? And Pet Sounds was number 2 on that list. I assumed Sgt. Pepper was going to be in the top 10, probably like 3 or 4, somewhere there, because I know for years, like people have revered it as one of the best albums of all time. Not even close. It's number 24 on that list. They list Abbey Road and Revolver higher, other Beatles albums higher than Sgt. Pepper, and just like greater albums, which I'm sorry, I thought Revolver was fucking boring. I've listened to it fairly recently, and I know it's got some bigger hits on it, but like I liked Rubber Soul better than fucking Revolver.
Yeah.
So I don't know where the fuck that's coming from. But again, this is all just somebody's opinion, some dickhead from Rolling Stone. So
Yeah, fuck Rolling Stone.
opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. But you know, it's interesting, and you know that kind of leads us right into our next bullet point here, because it all really did. Getting to this point with Sgt. Pepper, it got here through Rubber Soul. Rubber Soul was when the Beatles really started to get away from that early poppy sound that they had for the teeny boppers and the girls and everything else. They really started to expand musically. They started to try to, you know, be like a real band and play real music and experiment and use new instruments and things like that. And we talked about it when we talked about Pet Sounds. Rubber Soul, which came out in 65, I want to say, is what inspired Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys to write Pet Sounds, because he heard Rubber Soul and he's like, fuck, those guys are actually doing some good shit over there, because, you know, they were both competing for that teeny bopper crowd and those album sales between the Beach Boys and the Beatles and their early music. And all of a sudden the Beatles started, you know, going off on this tangent, and Brian Wilson's like, fuck, we got to do that too. Enter Pet Sounds, right? And we get Pet Sounds, one of the greatest fucking albums ever made.
Right.
Paul McCartney listens to that and he's like, fuck, those guys just like took their own fucking hard left turn, and now we have to respond. And you know, they had already been evolving again between Rubber Soul and Revolver, which came out in 66. If you listen, by the way, to members of the Beatles, I think George Harrison was quoted as saying, like, he felt like Rubber Soul and Revolver were kind of like volumes 1 and 2 of the same album, because they are thematically they're very, very similar.
Yeah, I can see that
in their structure and the instruments they use and everything. Again, I just find the Rubber Soul songs overall to be better than the ones that ended up on Revolver. But
there's a couple of bangers on Revolver.
Yeah, well, that's the one that had Yellow Submarine, which is that must have been the start of the fucking LSD when they started.
That's not even close to the best song on that.
Oh no, not at all. I'm just saying it's a notable song. It's one that people know for sure. But yeah, so
Eleanor Rigby off of that album.
Oh yeah.
I like the melodically, I like that song.
Yeah,
I like the transitions and
that
song.
was good. In fact, when I was listening to Revolver and that came on, I'm like, ooh, what song is this? This is actually really good. And I looked it up and I was, oh, okay. So anyway, yeah, so the Beach Boys released Pet Sounds. Paul McCartney at the same time was being peer pressured by the rest of the Beatles, apparently, this is according to something I read, to start fucking dropping LSD, because the rest of them were already fucking taking it. And like, come on, man, come on.
Do it, man, do it.
And finally, he's like, fuck it, fine. I could just see it too. He's like, fuck
Paul.
it. I'll take the fucking LSD.
Come on, Paul, do it.
And all of this sort of culminated together to at least start Sgt. Pepper and start the development of that. which they released in the summer of 1967, May of 67, which I didn't realize that 67 was the summer of love. Where I guess it was all about the fucking hippie movement and the free love, man, and
Come on, man. Come on. Get your electric car, man.
and they claimed that Sgt. Pepper was a massive part of that whole psychedelic hippie movement, summer of love, and everything else that was going on in 67. I guess that was right before Vietnam kicked off. When did Vietnam kick off? Because then everybody just got all angry.
Well, it was already kind of going in 67.
Vietnam was?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I guess officially, when did Vietnam? What's the official
Chad, help
date?
us out.
What's the official dates of Vietnam? I mean, because we were in. I don't even want to get into it, honestly. It's like we were in Cambodia in the early 60s, like 63, 64.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so Vietnam War itself.
Helmet Fire, we're trying to figure out when Vietnam officially started. Like what year did we as Americans get like fully actively involved in Vietnam?
Yes. I know it ended in 70.
Because we're talking about the Summer of Love, which was in 1967.
Oh, for God's sake. Some of these websites are fucking just so clickbaity.
It's like
Ask
every
one
fucking website.
goddamn question.
Yeah.
And I should know this. I really should.
Everybody's on the case now. We got Helmet Fire Googling it.
According to this says 55, November 155.
Yeah, because that makes a lot of sense.
Well, I mean, it kind of does.
Well, I mean, I can see us like being like somewhat involved. I'm talking like fucking American troops, boots on the ground, losing people at a regular basis.
55. Jason, we were in Vietnam. Like, that war, there's, like, if you study history, like, you understand that the Korean War never really ended, and that kind of spillover happened to start the war in Vietnam.
Uh-huh.
Like, so there's a lot of, it never really, the Korean War never really finished, obviously, like we're in a détente, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what we were doing and posturing to, keep the communists at bay.
Yeah.
What we were doing with
So
it's a whole fucking thing.
Helmet Fire came back January 6th of 68 was the Tet Offensive. So that's kind of
We'll go with that.
yeah.
That
so
works. 68.
yeah.
We'll go with that.
So the next year, basically after the
Sure.
Summer 11, because that's kind of what I envisioned. I thought like the 60s had this moment where it was like free love, man. It's all cool and everything.
Well, you got to remember when Kennedy, like Vietnam was starting during the Kennedy years, right? So when
Right, but
Kennedy
he
was assassinated, and LBJ kind of inherited this Vietnam issue.
Right, but at the same time, like Kennedy was opposed to getting actively involved in Vietnam, or as actively involved as we eventually got to, that LBJ fucking got us into. You ever see JFK, the movie?
Oh, JFK the movie.
I'm not saying that that's like 100% true.
Right.
I'm just saying like they have a good theory in there about the whole Vietnam connection with the Kennedy assassination.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
All right.
I'm not saying it's 100% true.
Okay.
But he makes a good point.
Okay.
All right. Whatever. So that's the sidebarest of all sidebars.
LBJ, yes.
Yeah. LBJ.
LBJ.
Oh, the LBJ. Oh, Jason. Jason with his LBJ. You know you like it. Chocolate kisses.
That episode, by the way, was so fucking disturbing when Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck went on the date.
Oh, God.
And he fucking pulled her down.
Right.
To, oh, God.
The Cartman's like kind of like, yeah. Yeah, it's South Park, man. The shit that they fucking do and get away with.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my God. It's fucking great. It's fucking great. Thank God they exist.
I
Thank
know,
God
right?
Thank God those boys do drugs.
Yeah, indeed. Speaking of boys that do drugs, so getting back to the Beatles, I mentioned Rubber Soul came out in 65, Revolver 66, Sgt. Pepper 67. As I'm doing my research and I'm thinking about all these albums, I'm like, why the fuck were these bands releasing albums at such a frequent rate? Like, we're talking one a year or less sometimes. Between like all of the big groups back in the 60s, the fucking Beach Boys, the Beatles, like you name them. If they were a big act in the 60s, they were just fucking shotgunning albums out to the public, just like boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, why? So I actually did some research. I'm like, why the fuck were these bands just releasing so much content? Apparently, touring was not nearly as lucrative back then as it is today. Like, that's where the bands make their fucking money today, and where they have for quite a long time, is on the road. You know, they make these albums, they put them out there to kind of get people interested, and then they take the fucking show on the road. And that's where the band makes their money, because the fucking record companies, the album stores, wherever you buy the fucking album, they all got to get their big cut.
Right.
And the artists themselves make dick off of actual album
and
sales.
especially now, like with downloadable content. I mean, how much could they possibly be getting off of that?
Well, now that's an interesting thing, because now I feel like the things have kind of flipped a little bit, because artists have far more power now than they used to back in the day. And that's when we can kind of talk about some of the creative stuff too, especially when we get talking about Tool versus the Beatles, because it's a product of a different time. But I mean, now, if you're a good, well-known artist, you can fucking create and produce and publish your own shit if you want. Metallica does that now.
Yeah.
Like, they self-publish all their material, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but it's Metallica. They can get away with it.
Right,
because
yeah,
it's
if you're
Metallica.
bigger. But I mean,
Like if you're Metallica, you're fucking Dr. Dre, Jay-Z, those fucking guys. Yeah, they can do shit like that, but not everybody can get away with that.
I guess not. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like with streaming and the internet and everything, it gives, I don't know, it just gives everybody more chance of exposure. And I guess Big Swede would be the person to ask about this, because he's the guy who's actually making original content and trying to get it out there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he definitely would be the subject matter expert on this.
indeed. So
I don't know dick all about it.
right. But to get back to my point, this was a big source of revenue for musicians at the time, was they had to constantly release fucking albums, because the record company still got their fucking cut. They still took advantage of them. But if these, artists, they wanted to make the big money, they had to fucking just keep the music flowing over and over, and they had to push singles. Another thing I didn't realize until I started doing research for this fucking topic, singles and albums were released separately back in the day. Like, if a group had a fucking single, they released it as the single.
Yeah.
And the album would be a separate thing that wouldn't even have the fucking single on it. Like nowadays, or at least when we grew up doing music, you'd had like cassette singles, CD singles, and all that.
Right.
But those same fucking songs were on the full album.
Right. It was kind of like a teaser for the album.
Right, exactly. But back then, it was like a total disconnect. Like, they'd release one song as a single or as like an A-side and a B-side, and then those songs wouldn't even be on the fucking albums. And that was kind of a regular thing back then. And we actually had a couple of songs released by the Beatles while they were recording Sgt. Pepper that didn't make it onto the album, which were, they were, two pretty big songs, and now I lost it in my notes which ones they were.
You had it. It's right there.
Where?
It's there.
Where?
See? Right there.
No, where?
Nope, I lost it. It's not there.
Did those? Oh,
Lies.
Strawberry Fields Forever and Penny Lane were both recorded during the
Oh, yeah, there it is.
the Sgt. Pepper recordings, but they ended up releasing those as a single because the record company's like, hey, quit with your fucking playing around with all the Coke bottles and fucking weird instruments that you're using and get us some singles. We got to keep that money flowing. So they're like, all right, well, we finished these two fucking songs, Penny Lane and Strawberry Fields Forever. So here you go. And they released those as a single, and they never actually got put on the fucking album.
Get those as a 45 and fucking good to go.
Yeah, yeah. So just again, a weird, interesting fact about the way the music business was back then. We already talked about the Rubber Soul influence on Pet
wait.
Sounds.
I don't have to do that.
So the
Try and take us down for that fucking YouTube.
the whole concept of the album is Paul McCartney was like, hey, why don't we assume these alter egos and we can really separate ourselves from our Beatles personas. We can be this separate fictional band,
Right.
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and we can have completely different characters. You know, Ringo, you'll be Billy Shears, and blah blah blah, and we can completely disconnect from any persona that we have as part of the Beatles. That people have these expectations. We basically play characters on this fucking album.
Right.
And, you know, really experiment and really depart from what we've been doing. And you see that huge difference from Rubber Soul and Revolver versus Sgt. Pepper, because
Right.
now they're getting into some like crazy shit, like fucking sitars and harpsichords and fucking the oh god, what's the one fucking instrument? God damn it. I had it. It was right on the tip of my tongue. Oh, the glockenspiel. They use the glockenspiel on the
Glockenspiel, yeah. We got some Glockenspiels.
yeah, the Benefit of Mr. Kite song.
The Glockenspiel.
So they really start experimenting, and you can see the parallels
Scheiße with the Glockenspiel.
between Pet Sounds and Sgt. Pepper. Like there's so many like parallels. You're saying, oh yeah, definitely inspired by what the Beach Boys did on Pet Sounds.
Yeah.
Well, even at the end of the Good Morning song, where you get all those fucking farm animals, you hear a fucking tiger, you hear some fucking chickens, and you're like, that's got to be an homage to fucking Pet Sounds. There's no
Is
fucking
it an
way.
homage or is it fucking just like, oh god, I've heard this.
Yeah.
I've heard it done better.
Yeah.
Like, see, and here's part of the problem, right? For me, as we get to a point with the like listening to this album, I appreciate. You hear that? Do you hear that?
No.
Oh my god!
Is the noise in here with us right now?
Yes. You don't hear? There's like a fly buzzing.
No.
Oh.
Are you okay?
No, apparently not. No, with this album, it was just like listening to it now. It was again coming off the Tool album and having a much, I don't know, I have a much deeper respect for the Pet Sounds album than I do necessarily for this album, because I feel like this album is still, as much as they try with the alternate persona thing, this album is still the Beatles.
Sure.
Whereas I think Pet Sounds was so much different than what the Beach Boys sound was.
I'll agree with that.
So it's, I don't know that the comparison could really be made adequately. Like, yeah, okay, I get what you're trying to do here, but the Beach Boys did it better.
Yeah.
Yeah, Simpsons did it. Like that type of thing. Like Beach Boys did it.
Well, and that's why in that Rolling Stone Hot 100 list, they list Pet Sounds as number 2, but they put Sgt. Pepper down at number 24.
Right.
So
because honestly, I think. Well, we're gonna talk about individual songs.
yeah, we can roll into the album itself, and it starts off with the title track, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, which I fucking love this track. You know, you get started with, you hear like the orchestra tuning up, right? And starting to warm up, and it kind of gives you this feel like, oh, almost like it's going to be a live performance sort of thing.
Right.
And then it fucking
It's either that or I'm getting ready to listen to a Mighty Python skit.
Right. Yeah. Very similar sound, but then it hops right in the da-na-na, da-na, and fucking Paul McCartney coming on and just belting the fucking lyrics of the "It was 20 years ago today."
Yeah.
You know, he's got that mode in his voice where it just sounds like he's screaming the fucking lyrics.
Right.
But it sounds good. It's not
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
exactly. And he's just fucking just like belting it out so loud. It's like, wow, it gets your attention.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I keyed on immediately when I heard this album for the first time. I'm like, ooh, man, like they got my attention. Like I'm in. So what else you got? So, and yeah, it kind of sets the stage. It was 20 years ago today. Sgt. Pepper taught the band to play. So the whole idea behind the album is this is like the 20-year reunion of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Yeah. And it's one of those songs where like I could never like do it in karaoke or something like that, right? If
I mean, I could, but it's like it'll probably turn into
right?
like I never actually like. I'd be trying to say the words, but it would just come out as one tone.
Yeah.
I'd be better off trying to do it as Jennifer Lopez, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
But again, it's got the whole orchestra behind it. It's in addition to having normal rock, contemporary rock instruments. It's also got like the horn section and everything else, and the shifting of the left and right stereo. My God, what is that? Is that a truck backing up? See, this is why you can't give Dave a kazoo or anything to like distract.
Where's your kazoo, Jason?
I don't know. I still haven't picked a color. Wonder if we'll get a YouTube strike for that. But I love like the guitar riffs in this. Musically I love it. I like the vocals. I like Paul McCartney's vocals, but they're just, they're
Aggressive.
like, yes, they're aggressive. They're very unattainable by the average schmo.
Yeah.
But then we roll right into, because you have that banding, that song banding, and it rolls right into With a Little Help from My Friends, where fucking Ringo takes center stage as Billy Shears, and he's like, "What would you think if I sang out of tune?"
Or sang really monotone.
Yeah.
What would you think if I sang really
But
monotone?
it works though. Like
Yeah.
it's a very enjoyable song, and I'll just be honest, probably my favorite Beatles song. Period.
Really?
Yeah, is With a Little Help from My Friends.
Interesting.
Who'd have thought a fucking song headed by Ringo would be my favorite? But I love both of these songs, and I kind of treat them as a single song.
Yeah, it does. Like you said, with the banding, it goes right into the same song.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Eruption and fucking.
You really got me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Ringo in that kind of monotone voice, but it works, and I really love the back and forth with him and the rest of the band. Like, do you need anybody? I want somebody to love. Could it be anybody?
Oh, I saw. Does anyone really like Ringo? Ringo was the fucking train man. He was the train guy in fucking Thomas the Tank Engine. You remember that?
Was he?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
The guy that read that was the narrator.
He was the guy. Him and Carlin was also fucking the guy on Thomas.
I remember Carlin's
Yeah,
voice.
Ringo was also one of them.
Oh, because Alec Baldwin also did a voice once
Did he?
on Thomas. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
No, Ringo was the conductor. Look it up.
I believe you. I never knew that.
Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends.
And then, of course, you got the line, "I get high with a little help from my friends." And I think, again, the Beatles tried to play it off like, "Oh, this album isn't about drugs. None of these songs are about drugs. Getting high is talking about sipping tea." I think
a hot air balloon.
Yeah, no, I think they literally tried to say that he was talking about drinking tea with his friends.
High tea.
Yeah,
Like drinking high tea.
Yeah. They were drinking some kind of herb.
Yeah.
In their.
I have to work on my British accent.
Okay.
I don't have a good British accent.
Okay. Well, you've got homework for the next week.
I do. I should have had it ready for this week.
Yeah. But anyway, I fucking love these first two tracks. Some of my favorite music of all time between Sgt. Pepper and With a Little Help from My Friends. And speaking of drugs, we roll right into Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, which, holy fuck, if you just look at the lyrics to this song on a piece of paper and you're like, what is going on? This motherfucker smoked all the weed, took all the LSD, probably threw in some fucking cocaine into the mix as well, because...
Here's what's interesting about this song. There's... What I really like about several of the songs on Sgt. Pepper's is it changes. It's funny we make this Tool comparison later, right? But you talk about like changing music styles in the middle of the song.
Yeah, you get that a few times in this album.
Yeah, and Lucy in the Sky is one of those where you have like, okay, we're singing like distortion here, and then like we're singing completely different. Fucking fly.
Yeah, he's bothering me too.
I need to get the assault rifle.
Mm.
Which, spoiler alert, Oh, not spoiler. What? Sidebar. Not spoiler. Spoiler alert. Fucking assault rifle. No. Oh, fuck. That motherfucker is right there. No, I got another convert. I should be a assault rifle salesperson.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I should be like the Charlie Wilson of fucking assault rifles.
Yeah.
And because I just got somebody else at work to buy one, and they fucking love it.
For anybody who doesn't know what he's talking about, he has this little gun that shoots salt and kills like insects.
Yes.
It's pretty awesome,
It's
actually.
fucking awesome.
But it's also brutal because it leaves like just a red splatter
yeah.
against whatever
Dude,
surface.
I am telling you, it is the fucking best. And
Like-
'tis the season, folks.
Yeah.
They're $50 on Amazon, worth every penny.
Mhm.
Hours of entertainment, and it gets rid of flies.
And what are they officially called? Like if I was to search for one on Amazon.
It's like I don't know why. I really, that one, I don't know why. Hang on. I'm going to go to Amazon.com.
All right.
I'm going to tell you right
We're
now.
doing it live, folks.
It's going to salt.
Well, do it live. Fuck it. Do it live.
It is called a bug a salt.
Bug a salt.
Right.
It's a play on words there.
Yeah.
It's good.
Bug a salt.
So do you actually pour the salt into it?
Yeah.
Like bullets? Like you would like a BB gun? You just...
It's more like a shotgun, but yeah.
Nice.
It's got like a hopper in the top. You put table salt in there, which I think the newer ones, like the guy who I just converted or talked into buy one,
Mhm.
he said they put like the coarse salt in there. Apparently, it's that much more brutal. It's like putting buckshot into
Oh,
it.
jeez.
Holy fuck! And look, here in the Northeast, we have lanternfly issues. So you want to get out there and fucking kill some lanternflies and do your civic duty. There you go. Now you have the weapon to do it.
All right.
Bug assault.
And not harmful to humans, I would imagine.
I mean, it
Might
sting a little
sting,
bit.
but yeah, it's-
Don't shoot it in your eyes.
Yeah.
Kids don't shoot it at each other. It's still, it's not. Just don't point it at each other's faces. I mean, like, have some decent fucking. I want to see good muzzle discipline out of all of you.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway.
So anything else on Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds? But yeah, no, you talked about the tone change. Because it does. It starts off with that very slow, melodic, fucking psychedelic sound. And then you get into the boom, boom, boom. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Really neat shift. And then it goes back to the slow, soothing tone. Picture yourself in a boat on a river. So, yeah. We roll into Getting Better. Funny thing about this song, I'm sure you remember. In the early 2000s, I might even have started in the late 90s, but early 2000s for sure, there was a fucking commercial for like stereo equipment or DVD players or something like that that used this fucking song. Like every one of the commercials would end with that guitar at the dun, 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 and a guy singing, I got to admit it's getting better.
Yes, I do remember.
Because
what was that a commercial for?
It was like either Panasonic DVD players or like Pioneer stereos, something like that. Some sort of consumer electronics. And they always ended with that, I got to admit it's getting better. And that was the first time I'd heard anything from this fucking song. So when I hear this on the album, when my buddy convinces me to listen to it, I'm like, that's that fucking commercial song. I'm like, oh, they stole a fucking Beatles track, which, sidebar, I just so happened to be watching some YouTube videos on when Michael Jackson bought the fucking Beatles catalog. You remember when that happened in like the fucking 80s, I think it was?
Yeah.
And Paul McCartney was pissed
Yep.
when he did that. And I guess as part of that, once Michael Jackson acquired the fucking rights to the Beatles songs, that's when he started fucking licensing out the songs for TV commercials and shit. Like they'd show up in like fucking Nike shoe commercials, and Paul McCartney fucking was furious over that. Because I was watching a lot of old interviews and stuff, and he's like, it's fucking diluting our music. And, you know, he was just pissed at Michael Jackson in general for stealing the Beatles catalog because he was trying to buy it himself at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael Jackson, who was just fucking made of money at the time,
Yep.
just swooped in and was like, yeah. Just crept up like a thief in the night and
Right.
stuck his finger in the butthole and stole the music. And yeah. But yeah, so the first time I ever heard It's Getting Better was in a fucking TV commercial.
I love how we went from that to Michael Jackson to butt stuff.
Yeah.
And now we're back.
Well, that's what Michael Jackson was known for, right? Sticking his finger in kids' buttholes.
I didn't know it was that specific. I know he messed around with kids. I didn't know if it was with their buttholes.
So anyway, as a song itself,
How does Jason know this?
I
Jason,
watched
is
the
there something-
news.
Is there something you're not telling us? Have you been to Neverland Ranch?
I went to Neverland once.
Oh,
and
wow.
I'd rather not think about it again.
You can tell Jennifer Lopez.
Jesus.
Come on, Jason. It's okay.
So overall, the song's theme is basically about life gets shitty at some point, but it gets better. Talking about how school was shitty and it's getting better. Relationships are shitty, they get better. But he's got this fucking line towards the end, like the last verse, I think. Like, I used to be cruel to my woman. I used to beat her and kept her apart from the things that she loved. I'm like, fuck, Paul. You don't have to share everything.
Yeah,
you know?
like cut off her leg and fucking beat her with it.
Yeah.
Like, whoa. You did what now?
Yeah, so it's like, okay, maybe we don't have to tell each other everything.
Right.
You know, let's.
Right.
But I'm like, God damn, I don't know if you could get away with that today. Like, just talking about, I used to be an asshole. I beat my wife and whatever, but it's getting better.
That's rap.
Yeah, okay, that's
I
fair.
mean, it's early rap influencer.
Yeah. And then for me, this is where the album kind of starts to slow down, especially with Fixing a Hole.
Yeah. Not into fixing a hole.
Yeah, not my favorite at all. Like, some people say it's about like heroin use and all that, but even so, even like trying to think of it as like a drug song is just like, meh, does nothing for me. She's Leaving Home is an actually interesting song. Another one that's like very slow. If you're not really listening to the lyrics and paying attention, you could easily just dismiss it as, ugh, okay, boring, next. But listening to the lyrics, it's really interesting because it's about these parents that, like, to me, it sounds like they're helicopter parents or whatever the 60s equivalent was, where they sacrifice everything for their daughter. They give you everything. They make personal sacrifices so you can grow up and live in this whatever. And then the daughter fucking ups and leaves. And they're like, how could she do this to us? And I'm sitting here thinking, like, what the fuck do you expect? You know, you expect the
This
kid
is
to,
what you wanted.
yeah, like they're gonna leave the nest someday. So you're coming off as these, like, I don't know, fucking hypocritical, like, not privileged, but what's the word I'm looking for? We use it to describe millennials today, where they're entitled.
Title.
Yeah, like they're
Yes.
entitled to, their daughter to grow up and stay with them forever or whatever because they made all these sacrifices and all this stuff. It's like, no, that's not how that works.
Pretty sure you make those sacrifices so they can get out
Yeah.
and have good things happen.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, if Kristen and I woke up one day and one of the boys is like, hey, I found a job, moving in with my friends, I'm leaving home, we'd be like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Peace
Next.
out, dude.
Next.
Yeah, here's some boxes.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to Costco. Do you need anything?
Yeah.
like
We'd still love that child
right.
with all of our hearts.
Obviously.
But at the same time, it's like, good.
Yep.
Good. You know?
Yes. Go find your way in the world.
Yep. So, but yeah, you get these like fucking these privileged parents who think that, like, oh, what?
Look down.
Oh,
Down.
at the chat.
No, look down.
Oh,
Down there. See down there? See
yeah.
it? Do you see it?
I see it.
Do you see it?
I do.
Look, Jason.
I was looking.
Look at it, Jason. Look at it.
Well, okay.
Dave has to
So
pee.
we
Dave has to be.
Dave needs to take a quick break. So we are going to do said break
Yes.
for Dave.
Or Dave's just gonna get up and go.
All right. So we're going to take a quick break and be right back after this very quick word from our sponsors. Oh, David. All right, let me get caught up on the chat. Again, if you're one of our Patreon subscribers, go and leave a comment, and one of us, whoever you want to read it, will read whatever you write verbatim in whatever accent and voice you want. So be sure to do that. All right, let me scroll up. Fucking Ringo. Get by with a little help from my friends. Fucking great song. And it's so simple, but I love it. I don't know what it is. Here for the karaoke. Yep. Glad you were singing along with us. Being gay is not about drugs. Yeah, LSD, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, right? But no, like you listen to these interviews and they're like, oh, it wasn't about LSD. It wasn't about drugs. It was about my son's drawing or whatever. It's like, okay, sure it was.
Yo, it cooled off nicely outside.
Yeah, it's fucking dark out there. It's not normally this dark this early.
That's what she said.
I'm just not even gonna acknowledge that. Bug assault. Tell them the Sidebarkers Cantina sent you. Fuck a bug. Just getting caught up on the chat.
Oh, I have to make an Amazon store.
What was the wow, Jason, in reference to?
Probably you getting poked in the butthole by Michael Jackson.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'd rather not talk about that. All right. I think I'm good bathroom wise, so we can just resume if you're good.
I got to refill the bladder.
All right. You ready to go? If you are, give us a play.
Stand by. I'm just going to do it once.
Sure.
Just to 12 seconds. That's going to be enough, right?
Tracking buddies like Jason peed while you're outside. Just don't tell him where I peed.
It's warm.
Mm-hmm.
So just once. 12 seconds is good enough.
Oh, that's why you play him twice?
Yes.
Oh, we've never talked about that. I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I don't know.
12 seconds is good enough. Yes?
No.
That's why I play it twice.
All right, so throw it in there. Do it.
All right, so I'm going to do it twice. So it'll be 20 seconds worth of...
Do it! Make the sacrifice!
Make the sacrifice. All right. Ready, and trois.
This podcast is part of the Red 5 Network. For more Red 5 Network podcasts, visit red5network.com. This podcast is part of the Red 5 Network. For more Red 5 Network podcasts, visit red5network.com.
And we're back. So you feel better?
Much.
Feel relieved?
I do.
Did you fix a hole? Did you fix the hole that the rain got in? Stopped your mind from wondering
No.
where it will go? No. Good vocals in that song. I know we kind of shit on the song and just sort of bypass it really quick. Great vocals. Most of these songs all have like really, really good vocals. So I just wanted to leave that. So yeah, she's leaving home. The benefit or being for the benefit of Mr. Kite, I actually really enjoyed this song also because it was inspired by like a carnival poster, like an old like carnival sideshow kind of poster, like of guys on trampolines and all this stuff. It's a very silly song, but at the same time, it's catchy. I like it. It's very different, and it also fits with the theme of the whole album itself.
Which song are we talking about?
Benefit of Mr. Kite.
Oh, yeah.
For the benefit of Mr. Kite, there will be a show tonight on trampoline.
Yeah, this is not one of my favorites.
Okay.
It's almost too campy.
Okay.
That can be a thing.
I can
mean,
see
it's-
that. It is a little on the silly side for sure.
I mean, it's not kazoo silly, but it's almost there. It's almost kazoo silly.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Within Without You, that's another one of those sort of psychedelic-y type things. You've got the sitar is front and center in this one, and you've even got some like sitar soloing going on.
I'll tell you,
you.
there was parts of this song where I was listening to it, and it's like there's like a couple of Tool elements in there that was like, oh wow, that has some similar. Just because of the way it was vibing,
Yeah.
it kind of felt similar to that, and then it kind of got old. Like,
Yeah, it's
like,
a long song, and it's even though you get some changes in tempo and everything, it's still it's probably about a minute and a half too long.
What I will say about like, there's very few Beatles songs that are more than a few minutes long. Like,
yeah,
and
like most of them are pretty short.
Yeah, I do kind of like that. Like that's what Beatles are the original pop music, right? It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
hey, here it is. Here's the song.
Yep, short bursts and
Yep.
just on to the next
Get
one.
it out of your system, and then you're done.
Whereas again, that stark contrast to Tool, where it's
Right.
like minimum 6 minutes per song. Like
12 minutes of fucking glory.
yeah. Then we go to When I'm 64. So the first time I ever heard this song was at the beginning of the movie The World According to Garp. Did you ever see that movie with Robin Williams?
Once.
Fucked up, weird movie.
Yeah, weird movie.
Yeah.
Why have I don't even know if I saw the whole thing. That was an HBO thing.
Was it? Because I saw it a lot on the movie channel back in the day.
Yeah, I think it came on either it came on the HBO or the movie channel or something.
It was on.
It was a cable thing.
Yeah, it was in syndication on cable a lot. But you know, if you saw it on one of those pay channels, there was like tits and stuff in it. So, yeah. But yeah, weird fucking movie with Robin Williams, and I guess it was based on a book. And but the movie started off with this baby like coming in and out of frame to this fucking song. The When I'm 64. I don't think it was the original version. I think it was a new recording of it by somebody else. But that was the first time I'd ever heard this song was during that. And
I had heard it. So Pierre Robert, who's a local disc jockey here for MMR, he's been on WMMR for like
was that thunder or was that an airplane?
that was Thunder.
Okay.
Sorry, truncated silence. Take that out.
Yeah, but that's a good point. If we just all of a sudden go dark, it's because we've got thunderstorms in the area and we could
'Cause we
potentially
like
lose
it.
power.
That's right.
Ah, chocolate kisses.
Hang on. Let me check the radar shot here.
All right, we're getting a weather report live.
Well, do it live. Fuck it. Do it live.
Yeah. It's about. Yeah. That still holds. It's about 10 miles out.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Yeah,
Could get loud in here.
indeed.
Makes it fun though.
Yeah.
Glad I peed.
Makes the show a lot more interesting.
Yeah. Anyway.
So we were talking about When I'm 64, local DJ.
What? Yeah. So Pierre Robert, like they do, like around Memorial Day and like there's like kind of beach, like getting ready for the beach holidays. They would do like these top 100 songs of whatever, and this song would like show up because of obviously it's like a counting song or a birthday song or something like that. So that's when I remember hearing it, and it's whereas the other song maybe too campy. This song has campiness, but it's not overly campy.
Yeah,
that makes
it's
sense.
on the border, I think, and I think it's got kind of a deeper meaning than just like, "Will you love me when I get old?"
Right.
It's more like, "Will you continue to put up with all my bullshit?" Basically, is really what he's saying.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, really, for me, it's like I could envision that when I'm 54.
Yeah.
It's like oh, will you still feed me when I'm 54?
right.
Hopefully, make it to 64.
And of course, Paul McCartney was in the middle of a pretty nasty divorce when he turned 64, and all the fucking news outlets, they all dogpiled on that. It's like, oh, I guess she wasn't gonna need him, and when he was 64, and I was
Right.
like, shut the fuck up. Like they couldn't fucking wait to fucking pounce on that when he turned 64.
Well, apparently, neither could she.
Indeed. So,
When I'm 64.
but yeah.
Boom.
And again, another one where it's like interesting instruments and everything used in there, good vocals. Then we move into another low point for me, a Lovely Rita. Lovely Rita, Mita maid. One of my least favorite songs on the whole album.
There's elements to this song that I like, though. It's for me, it's not the lowest point on this, like because I don't know, it's not the worst one of it.
Yeah, and
It's,
again, none of these songs I would consider
you know,
to be bad.
when you get the
Yeah. Well, yeah, and you get some very kazoo-like sounds. In fact, I think they might be fucking kazoos. Yeah. The arrangement includes a quartet of comb and paper kazoos. So, if the bit paid off, finally. Jesus.
Solo, because they're solo.
Yeah, that was good. Impressive. We're gonna have record companies calling soon.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah, and then we roll right into Good Morning, which I alluded to when we talk about the animal sounds at the end.
Good morning.
Yeah, and Paul McCartney actually referred to this as sort of a throwaway song. They just kind of wrote it really quick, but
Yeah, I can see that.
yeah, because there's not much to it. It's not a very.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't.
But
like at all. Like, and I'm annoyed by it.
Are you?
It annoys me.
Wow.
Like, it annoys me like Stephen A. Smith annoys me.
That bad, huh?
Yeah, I like
Just because it's so obnoxious with the good morning.
I like. Nope. I just fucking even in the car. I'm like,
wow.
No.
See, because for me, it's again one and the same with the next song, which is the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band reprise. They flow together again, just like the first two tracks did. These last two tracks, or last almost two tracks, flow together into the reprise of the title track,
Right.
Which I enjoy. I love the way that they essentially close the album with this version of the song. Faster tempo, and it's like, we hope you have enjoyed the show, whereas they started off with, we hope you will enjoy the show. So you get that real nice bookend to the album with this
I do like how they did that. And honestly, this is a short album.
It
Like,
is.
you figure like
Yeah, I listened to it during my commute, one way during my commute.
Yep, same. I did the same. And even skipping through Good Morning.
Mhm.
Good morning. 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 Like fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you and your good morning.
Yeah.
Right in the fucking ear.
Mhm.
No.
Yeah.
No good morning.
But and
No.
yet this reprise is only like a minute and a half, 2 minutes at the most. So it's really it's very, very short, faster tempo, and a lot of crowd noise too. A lot of ambient crowd noise is
Yes.
like, treating it like it's a live
Right.
performance.
Yep. And then we get to
A Day in the Life.
yeah, which I think is honestly the best track.
It's a
on
good
this
track.
album.
Yeah, and you talk about changes, right?
Yes.
You get a really interesting change with this where,
Yes.
it starts, I heard the news today.
Oh boy.
And then it like picks up, and then Paul kind of goes into that like little rap almost. I woke up, got out of bed,
drag a comb across my head. Yeah, I love the changes. I love the tempo changes. I love the crescendo of the music, because I remember hearing this at home, like as a kid. Like, and again, my dad had a great stereo setup. So when this was played in the house, it was played in the house. So,
Yeah.
like it was played at its best sound, off the album, and even on the CD, I think. I don't remember, but those like, it's like kind of building
you get
up
the sound
to that
effects
fucking,
and all that. Yeah.
and when it hits that, it's just so, like, it's just so elemental with that, with how it, just hits you, and then starts with something like dun 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 dun, dun, get up, get out of bed, drag a comb across my head.
Yeah.
Like, it's, I really enjoyed that, and this is one of those songs off this album. And I was like listening to it, I'm like, man, I forgot how much I like this beat and this song, how much I really like this song. Like it's just one of those where it's like, oh wow, it kind of woke up in me.
Yeah, and it's got so many layers to it. And I'm pretty sure John Lennon sings most of it, aside from the rap where Paul comes in and does the woke up, get out of bed, and all that. Because I'm pretty sure John Lennon sings the rest of it. Because you definitely hear John Lennon. Yes, that harmonic kind of just like, it's very John Lennon. And,
Dun, 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 dun. I read the news today. Oh boy.
yeah, and just good track overall.
Yeah.
And then of course you get the little hidden segment, which
at the like the 5-minute mark, because when the song ends at like 4.5, and then you get like a few seconds of silence, and this is very Tool-esque,
right?
Because it's
or maybe Tool is being very Beatles-esque in their arrangements.
whatever. We did the Tool
All
breakdown
right.
first.
They're comparable. We'll say that. And then you get into that little.
Anything's comparable, Jason.
whatever.
Anything's comparable.
I'm just trying to make a point. But then we get into this mishmash of things that never get me any other way. Never get me any. And
you know what that fucking reminded me of?
Hmm.
That reminded me of its survival school. Like, remember when you're fucking when you're in the box
and they repeated the same shit over the
so loud you get like and they're like, y'all can't talk me near, yes sir, y'all can't talk me near, yes sir, y'all can't talk me. That's what that fucking shit reminded me of.
I'm sure I've told this story on the show before, but one of the things that they did for me was like somebody who was like fucking either drunk or retarded or both singing Hey Jude over and over, and it was somebody going na 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 Hey Jude, and they were playing that on a fucking loop.
Na 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 na.
Yes. Yeah, and it's like
na, 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 na.
The funny thing was that they were playing this on a loop over and over again to try to drive us crazy, but I was laughing every time that came around on the loop because it was so fucking funny sounding. And
I'm glad they didn't do that, because I would have been like, just when we sing, right? We're supposed to sing along with this.
Yeah,
because I think I've told this story also. I was one of the people that got on trouble on the bus going to camp.
Oh, you've told that story.
Because of fucking, Hank Hill showing up on the fucking bus. So yeah, that would have been bad.
Dude, sidebar of sidebars. Kristen's been watching King of the Hill lately.
Yeah.
She was talking about it before we went live. Dude, the Hank Hill on that fucking show and your Hank are so fucking close. I'm like, God damn.
What's really funny? My Hank is really Mr. Anderson
from Beavis and Butthead.
From Beavis and Butthead.
Well, and
Hank matriculates into something different. Like the more mature Hank is in the later seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like you hear the voice change.
Okay.
Like it's like the Hank changes. Like,
right, but she's watching the first season right now.
Right.
So which is Hank is fucking identical to Mr. Anderson at that point.
Yeah, Mike Judge, like the Hank changes.
Yeah.
The Hank gets a little bit more mature, I guess.
Yeah.
And has a little bit more propane, kind of deepens his voice a little bit and slows him down. That's the big thing. Mr. Anderson, he talks fast.
Because he's very high strung.
Right. He's a veteran of 2 world wars. Whereas Hank is very slow and deliberate. Except when he's, damn it, Bobby, there better be a naked cheerleader underneath your bed.
Yeah, but I mean, just listening to him, I'm like, fuck, Dave really nailed that voice.
It's a lot of hours. A lot of hours.
I guess, man.
But
shit.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, it was fucking wild. So, but yeah, anyway, we get to that last hidden track, and listening to an interview with Paul McCartney is they were trying to simulate like if you didn't like take the needle off of a record, what it would sound like, just skipping over and over again over one certain part.
Gotcha.
And it was just never kiss me any other way, never kiss me any other way, and it would just keep.
Why did that just make me think of put the needle on the record, 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 and it's going to sound like this.
Okay, took me a second.
It was one of the disco dance beats.
Right.
Boots and pants music.
Yeah.
People know what I'm talking about. Boots and pants and 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 boots and pants. Anyway,
but that's all of the tracks on the album.
Right.
And kind of wrapping it up before we get to some of these comparisons. I mean, I still think it's a fantastic album, and I love how drastic of a departure they took from the Beatles style. And that's kind of what attracted me to the album in the first place. Is that's what opened the door for me to appreciate some of the other Beatles. Like then I started listening to things like the White Album, and then I went back and listened to Rubber Soul and Revolver, and really kind of appreciated their whole catalog. But this was the gateway. It was the gateway drug to get me into the Beatles with Sgt. Pepper.
I could see that. I started a boots and pants thing. For me, I think listening to it now, this album wasn't nearly as much of a departure as I remember it.
Yeah.
Like a Pet Sounds style departure.
Right.
Like, being such a different thing, because I think it still sounded a lot like the Beatles.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Pet Sounds was like really, really such a remarkably different sound.
Yeah.
Which we covered at length. Check out that episode.
Yeah, it was only like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So.
Was it really that long ago?
I think so. It was last year.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, where was I going with that?
For you, it wasn't as much of a departure for them.
Oh no. So the Beatles music for me is very, very like mood dependent.
Yeah. I
Right.
could see
So if I wanted to listen to, like, all right, I'm looking for something that's more upbeat. Like I'm going to listen to certain Beatles songs, right? If I want to listen to something more moody and melodic, I'm going to listen to certain Beatles songs. If I'm going to listen to the Beatles, I'm going to like, it's definitely something that if I just go through and shuffle through Beatles songs, I'm going to skip a lot because I have to
Yeah.
be in a particular mood to listen to a particular.
Yeah, and a lot of these songs on
so.
Sgt. Pepper, it feels like you have to listen to them in the context of the album, or you're going to lose a lot, and you're probably just not going to want to listen to it.
Right. You know, except for the ones that I like, I can get past that because I know the rest of the album, right? So because
Yeah.
I know the album, then I can kind of get into it. But what I kind of forgot how much like I enjoy the Beatles. Like I know every once in a while I have the Beatles as a preset on one of my Sirius XM things, and every once in a while I'll throw the Beatles in there, and I'll put like 2 or 3 songs together that I'm like, okay, cool, and then it'll have a couple songs where I'm just like, no, I'm done with the Beatles
Yeah.
for right now, and then I'll go away from it. So, and it's very, very mood dependent.
Okay.
And this album was no different. Like even inside this album, which for the most part was kind of the same, like, you know, it wasn't like here's a bunch of highs and here's a bunch of lows, Bohemian Rhapsody style. It was more, you know, kind of like here in this middle area.
Sure.
Like, a little high, a little low. I can't get away from that now. But yeah, I overall, I mean, I enjoy the album.
Yeah.
But I have my favorites. But the Beatles overall, like as we're transition and start talking about like some comparisons.
Well, yeah, let's talk about the Pet Sounds comparison first before we get into the other stuff.
Yeah,
And yeah, for me, like if you had asked me this question 2-3 years ago or beyond, I'd have been like, oh, Sgt. Pepper's better by far. But it only wasn't until more recently that we really like dug into Pet Sounds. And I've been doing a lot of research, watched that movie about Brian Wilson, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Yeah, Pet Sounds is actually really good. And now I think Pet Sounds is far and away a better album.
Yeah, even prior to doing the Pet Sounds album, if you had asked me between the two albums, I would have said Pet Sounds. Just because even all right, here's a pile of songs from Pet Sounds, here's a pile of songs from Sgt. Pepper's. Pick your favorite ones. I'm gonna have a bigger pile from Pet Sounds.
Yeah, I can see that.
Than I will out of this album. You know? And so if we're just going by quantifiable, then Pet Sounds wins. And I just like the sound better. Like it's good stuff, you know, for the Beatles here, but I don't necessarily like the departure. Like they made good music from Sgt. Pepper's, but this was a very, you know, if you're talking about the Beatles' career, we're not just talking about a transition in one album. We're also we're talking about a transition career-wise.
Yeah,
like from the type of music that we're making since here.
Right, and they weren't together for much longer after this either.
No.
I think they broke up in 70 or 71. This was 67 when this came out.
Yeah, so it wasn't.
Which, by the way, I saw the. Have you watched that Beatles documentary on Disney Plus, the Get Back? I watched the first episode. They're like over 2 hours an episode. First of all,
Who has time for that?
It's tough. That's why I haven't seen the whole thing, because it's like 3 or 4 parts. But you know, you're watching the whole development process and stuff, and you can see, you know, some really good shit in there. But you can also see where some of the band tensions happen. You know, this was like George walked out for a while on this, and you could see things starting to build, and a lot of the creative differences, things like that.
It's really funny. I've mentioned That Thing You Do on the show before.
Yeah, the movie with Tom Hanks.
Yeah, and Liv Tyler.
Yep.
Yikes. Anyway,
He's too tall for me.
not this guy.
Yeah.
There was a whole height conversation in the chat earlier too, by the way. I don't know if you saw that.
So smooth.
But yeah, it's if you took the Beatles like documentary and like shrunk it into like this band over
So smooth.
over a couple like here's like a all right, here's a little snapshot. This is probably what the Beatles had gone through. Like here's the fame, and then here's the change in the music, and here's where the record company wants you to do. Here's how a girl plays into it, you know, like because you can't.
Got to have your Yoko.
You got to have your Yoko, right? Even today, to this day, that's still a thing.
Yeah.
You know? So.
And can anybody explain to me how John Lennon takes 6 bullets in the chest? Yoko Ono is standing right next to him, not one fucking bullet.
I don't know, man.
It's one of the great mysteries of the earth.
It's not for the bug spray. It's for the assault rifle. Assault with a SALT.
Yeah.
YouTube, don't take us down. It's
yeah, poor timing on that one.
Yeah, you put salt in it, table salt, and then you kill bugs with it.
Yeah.
That's
double entendre or
so,
double meaning of the.
Sure.
Yeah.
All those things. So small. So small.
So smooth.
So yeah, I think we're pretty much in agreement that overall Pet Sounds is a better album. But I gotta say, like, there's a couple of tracks on Sgt. Pepper that are just like fucking iconic for me. Again, the first 2 tracks, the title track and With a Little Help from My Friends, I'll take those over anything from Pet Sounds first. But then a lot of Pet Sounds songs would come next.
Okay.
So, all right, can we finish this whole Tool versus the Beatles discussion that Lord Helmet Fire brought up last week? Like, I don't know if he was just being, facetious or what, but
I think it's like I'm not a fan of making comparisons like that because you have two bands and 2 completely different genres
and different eras of music too.
Yeah, and one was not necessarily in competition to the other.
Yeah.
I think it's really I can say me personally, like there probably was a time in my life where I would have said that, yeah, I like more Beatles stuff than I like Tool stuff.
Right.
And now, as I sit here today, there's more Tool music than Beatles music than I'll listen to.
Sure.
And I think that's part of being a mature music listener.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not such a slave to one particular thing. And honestly, I think our generation is super, super eclectic with what we listen to.
Yeah.
Just
because we were exposed to so much growing up.
Yeah.
And
that's Michael Jackson notwithstanding.
Yeah. I was exposed to Michael a lot.
So small.
So small.
So smooth.
But I mean, you think about it too. You think about our parents and the generation our parents grew up in, where I talked about my mom, right? My mom was 7 or 8 when Sgt. Pepper came out. I remember she was a huge music fan when I was a little kid. So I was exposed to all of the shit that she was into that wasn't really targeted at my generation yet, or our generation, I should say, that I listened to a lot. I listened to when she got super into country music. I knew the fucking words to every goddamn country song that came out in the fucking 80s.
Every goddamn country song.
Yeah. I knew all the fucking words to every one of those fucking songs because of that exposure. But then, everything else that we were exposed to.
Why does Clayton Bigsby the one that pops into my head for fucking some shit like that? Like, why?
Sir, my message is simple.
Why? It's not good. It's not good.
They stink, and I hate them.
It's not good, people.
Yeah.
That's not a good default. Anyway.
Why don't you bring your media cameras over there if you want to see some real truth?
Anyway, what were you saying?
Just our exposure to music.
Yes.
Like, we were exposed to so
yes.
much, and we went through these crazy revivals of older music too as we were coming up. Like I mentioned before, in the early 90s, at least where I'm from, classic rock came back in a huge fucking way. At the same time that like Metallica and Guns N' Roses were like dominating the charts again, classic rock had this massive fucking revival, at least with like in my town with me and my group of friends. And that's when I got exposed to bands like the fucking Doors and Led Zeppelin and Rolling Stones and all of them.
Jason saying exposed is just like when he says Paul. Like, I can't look at him seriously every time he says exposed now.
So smooth.
I just can't do it.
But yeah, so it's just, we have had the benefit of being introduced to all of these different types of musics and bands, and then also being at the forefront of fucking technology as things like Napster and Kazaa and LimeWire hit, and then when the legit stuff like Apple Music came out, we were at the forefront of all that. We were the fucking that prime audience, that 18 to 35-year-old consumer that like all these companies fucking coveted, right? And now the millennials and all that just got our fucking leftovers with all their shit music and The Weeknd and whatever else they listen to. So
It's like it's Monday. I don't know what you're talking about.
no, I think The Weeknd is the name of a guy or a band or something.
The Weeknd is a band,
Yeah,
like a whole band.
or a guy. I don't know, one or the other.
So a band.
A band or a single artist is called The Weeknd.
Like it's
So the band is called The Weeknd?
Yes,
So the whole band.
I guess.
So who plays the drums?
Tuesday.
So Tuesday plays the drums?
Yeah.
But that doesn't make any sense
Oh,
because it's
no.
the weekend.
Fuck. All right. Saturday afternoon plays the drums.
It still doesn't make any sense.
Well,
but okay.
let's be honest. So, okay, here's another great sidebar. Kristen, she played a band, like a 90s band for Rob recently, within the last couple of years. Might have been like fucking Counting Crows or something like that. Like some band, or maybe even was like the Killers, where you couldn't quite pinpoint what era they were from.
Okay.
And she was like asking Rob, like, do you think this band is newer or older? He's like, well, they're older. She's like, well, how do you know? Like, and how do you know so fast? He's like, you can tell they're playing their own instruments. Like that's the immediate tip off that they're an old band.
Wow.
They play their own instruments.
wow.
It's like fucking kids, man.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy that well, it's unfortunate that that's the go-to.
Yeah.
Like it's not. This is an all pre-recorded fucking, some sort of fucking goofy track.
Yeah. So I can't remember how we got off to that, but yeah, the whole comparing Tool to the Beatles is like apples and oranges. It's so different eras. Like we talk about it, the record companies putting the pressure on the fucking Beatles to release. You got to release an album every year and some singles intermixed with that. You got to like keep fucking churning this shit out.
Hooker with a penis.
Right. Whereas with fucking Tool, how long would they go in between albums? It was like a 5-year span between albums and then like a 15-year span at one point. So, not nearly as much corporate pressure to produce material. They got to take their time with it. They had a lot more artistic freedom, I think, than bands like the Beatles had back in the day. It wasn't until the Beatles got mega successful that they were able to, branch off into things like Revolver and Sgt. Pepper and shit like that.
Right. Because then they were starting to write their own checks. They weren't quite at the mercy of
Right,
the
exactly.
executives.
Yeah, whereas I think new artists now, like fucking these record companies probably look for that kind of stuff. We want somebody different because we've been churning out the same bullshit for fucking 2 decades, and
Well, the bullshit makes money.
it does.
So they keep doing it.
Yeah.
I think one of the points that was brought up in the chat, and I think it's fair, I think Wally Frogmore had actually done it. It's the Beatles did have a lot of influence to a lot of these other bands,
Of course.
and and I think you could say that with a lot of these bands, like in the 60s and 70s, like these early rock bands and jazz music and everything. And there's so many influences that bands like Tool and the Foo Fighters and these rock bands and fucking metal bands and everything else, they're taking these sounds and incorporating them into their own music and turning it into something else. So you have to have a band like the Beatles. You have to have like a foundational band like that,
Right.
to be able to fucking make the sound that you.
Yeah, because we wouldn't be
now.
where we are right,
Right.
now if it wasn't for the tracks that they laid.
And think about what if the Beatles don't go on Ed Sullivan and fucking blow that up, like how does that not change how music comes out?
Yeah. And
Motherfucker is right on the pop filter.
enter sound of Dave whacking his microphone. Wait for it.
I missed. I'm trying not to hit the microphone. How did he stay there?
Did you get him at least?
Oh, I hit
You hit the mic.
him.
All right.
He's probably just startled. I need my fucking assault rifle.
We'll bring it in next time. Anyway,
There's a girl I want to meet.
what the fuck's your problem? So And honestly, like, you can like Tool more than the Beatles. You can like fucking hate the Beatles and fucking love Tool, and that's
Fuck
perfectly
the
fine.
sun. I hate it too.
Long live the fucking beast. And that's the thing. It's at the end of the day, it's all about personal preference and what you like.
Yeah.
I may not like fucking The Weeknd, but if somebody out there thinks it's like the greatest band in the world, then hey, more power to you. Not my cup of tea.
Honestly, The Weeknd's not the worst of like some of the stuff. That
I picked a name that I knew like was popular with the kids these days.
I don't even know it's that popular with the kids.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know what's popular with the kids.
I am
'cause
so unplugged from current music.
Yeah,
It's-
I
The true sign that we've gotten old.
yeah, I'm not plugged at all. I'm like I listen to Turbo on 90s and 2000s
Yeah.
fucking hard metal or hard rock and metal.
Mm.
So I have no idea what's going on with music. But that being said, there's a lot of shit that I listen to, and there's some like of the newer stuff that I don't necessarily hate. Even some of the fucking like this is how weird I am, right? With my musical, sometimes I need to listen to some fucking just awful ugly rap.
Mm-hmm.
Just because like that beat hits.
Fuck
Right.
the police. Damn.
Well, I'm not talking about NWA. I'm talking like some of the more modern stuff, because some of the tracks that they're using are they're really good. Like the mixes are really good, and it just hits. Like when you want to fucking boom 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 boom, just something like you need something a little bit more than boots and pants music. And I don't listen to the words, but I need something a little bit faster, and some of that stuff hits.
And this is where the whole difference of opinion comes in. You know
Yeah.
what? You may enjoy that stuff. Hey, that's good for you. May not be my thing, but I'm not going to take away your thing.
Yeah, there's nothing like listening to some fucking like Meek Mill or Jay-Z or something like that. It's
I recognize Jay-Z. I don't know what Meek Hill is or whatever you just said.
Meek Mill. He's a Philly guy.
Oh, okay.
He did the whole the locker room song for the Eagles. It was their whole thing for the Super Bowl year when they beat Tom Brady.
Okay.
So small. But yeah, but like I said, I have a very eclectic sense of music, and
I'd like to say I do too.
and like EDM stuff like that, the electronica, boots and pants music. Yeah, yeah. I'll have times when that's what I have to listen to in the morning. Like
I like Sandstorm. Remember that one? Da, 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 da.
mhm.
Da, 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 da.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I know exactly what that is. Trust me, there's a lot of that stuff. So there's a lot. There's almost nothing is off the table except for
I should put
honestly,
that in my Apple Music.
some fucking.
Hold on, we're doing this live.
I could give you a whole. Do you want a playlist of that type of music? I can give it to you.
What do you mean no results? Sandstorm's not on fucking Apple Music? Does it actually go by a different name?
It probably goes by a different name.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Oh,
You're in airplane
I'm in
mode.
airplane mode. Whoops.
Oh, and Nick, instead of a big Swede listening to the fucking podcast, he's actually at Top Golf.
Oh, the one here?
No, he's got one that just opened up by him with a fucking rainbow. Look at the rainbow in the background.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, his kid's working there now.
All right, still nothing in my Apple library.
Well, we should probably close up with the fucking Beatles thing, and then we can go off on these tangents.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I still think, even though I don't hold it in as high of regard as I used to, Sgt. Pepper, I still think it's fantastic. I still enjoy it when I listen to it, but I think I've expanded more, and I think Pet Sounds is a better album. But I do appreciate Sgt. Pepper, and I'm glad I was exposed to it. Poll. Because it did open my eyes to the Beatles, and yeah. So I appreciate it for what it is.
Chocolate kisses.
What about you?
I like what I like. There's a couple songs on there that I like, and it'll be in my playlist, and that's that.
All right. So that is the end of that chapter. For next week, we've already talked about the. Oh, hold on. We got to talk about the movie first.
Oh,
The fucking. Have you ever seen the Sgt. Pepper movie?
I don't know that I have.
Because after it was brought to my attention that it was a thing, and then I fucking remembered, I went out and I think I like got a pirated copy of the movie years ago, and I fucking watched it. Oh, it's bad. It's really bad. It's fucking crazy. Again, I think 10 years later in the late 70s, they're like, hey man, let's do a bunch of pot and then remake or make a movie based on the Sgt. Pepper album. It's gonna star the Bee Gees and Peter Frampton as the band, and then we're gonna throw George Burns in there and Donald Pleasance and Steve Martin, and Aerosmith's gonna do their own song in there, and it's gonna be cool, man. And the song She's Leaving Home is gonna be sung by robots. Wow. Robots.
What kind of fever dream was this?
I don't know, but you watch it all together as a whole, it's a terrible movie, but
So
it's
what
fucking
was better, that or Birdemic?
Ooh. Well, it's been a while since I've seen Sgt. Pepper. Maybe we need to do a bad movie review with Sgt. Pepper.
Why did I open myself up to this?
Oh,
man. God damn it, Jason.
Kelly, put a pin in that.
Fuck.
Yes. Yes. We have a future episode topic. Hold on. What year did that come out?
God damn it.
Good call, Dave. Sgt. Pepper, the movie.
God damn it.
78. Next year.
General Shinobi is in a stream and she's still in our chat. That's awesome. You're the best.
Yeah.
I love the dedication.
Next year is the 45th anniversary of the Sgt. Pepper movie. 2023.
I don't want to talk about Sgt. Pepper again.
It was 45 years ago today.
That doesn't make any sense. We have
Sgt. Pepper got made in a movie.
We're talking about Sgt. Pepper today when the fucking Attack of the Clones came out.
Yeah. Well, that was just poor planning on our part.
Right, but shit. God damn it.
Oh yeah. So hold on. When did that come out? July of 78 is when it came out. So I think July of 23 we're gonna have to have a little celebration.
It's a celebration. Bitches.
So
Give it 2 thumbs down.
yeah, it was fucking wild
What was
though.
I doing? What was I on my phone for? Like I got on my phone and I saw that Nick texted and I'm fucking going back and forth with him. And there's rainbows and
Taste the rainbow?
fruit flavors. Taste the rainbow.
Yeah, I have no idea. But that's all for Sgt. Pepper until we talk about the movie.
Jesus Christ.
And then next week, we are celebrating our 250th episode.
Fucking hell, man.
250 of these motherfuckers. And technically, we've already done more. We've had bonus episodes. But yeah, it's our 250th numbered episode.
Yes.
And we've got an idea for it. In addition to the Patreon stuff that we talked about before,
Right.
If you want us to say anything or want us to talk about anything next week, post it in our Patreon for our subscribers.
Oh, I remember.
Otherwise, we're gonna dip into the archives a little bit
Dip.
and with our poll and expose everybody to.
If nothing else gets us taken down, it should be that and some fucking badass kazoo playing. You ready? This would sound so much better if you were also playing it.
And just like that, we're demonetized. We were never monetized.
We were never demonetized.
so- I just want the record to show I never agreed to play kazoos. It was not my idea. I didn't buy these. Oh my god. So anyway, we've got some we've got some things in store for next week's episode, the episode 250. Unfortunately, we are not going to have an episode 2 weeks from today.
Right.
May 30th, because
Yes.
someone will be out of town.
Yes. For the first time in like fucking forever. So get over it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Yeah. So anyway, No episode in 2 weeks. Sorry, bro. And that's that.
It must be on Spotify. Shit.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the fucking playlist of old fucking boots and pants stuff to say.
Oh.
Lunagore keeps pointing at her own thing. So here's the funny thing about that whole thing with episode 250. At about, let's see, we went on air at 5:27.
Yes.
We had this idea at 5:24.
Pretty
Like
much.
that, I am not bullshitting you. That was like I was like, hey, we should do this, and then we went into the Google Drive and looked at old notes and shit like that. Like, wow, that sounds like a good thing. And then we fucking, all right, let's go live, and we went live.
Yeah.
Like literally, that's how that went down. Like Dave had a good idea, and we're going live.
Yeah.
So
And that was that.
that was that. So you're finding out at real time, and that's just unfortunately how my brain works. I don't know what else to say. My toothpaste tube of fucking brain right now is like that's
Yeah,
it.
we've
It's-
squeezed like the last out of it.
It's that's it. Kazoo playing is basically what I got left. Kazoo playing and fucking
Chocolate kisses.
Oh my god.
I can't even. Oh, Jason. Oh, I need googly eyes. Can you get some googly eyes? Oh, Jason.
It's gonna be so distracting. I have this bad feeling that this is the start of something terrible for me. So
yes, Dave Martin's first CD to cover all the Kazoo covers you never wanted.
yeah, with Jennifer Lopez singing.
God, I don't know if I could do that. Well, I mean, we could put it together. Like I could lay down the kazoo
Uh-huh.
and then and then have.
I need more tacos before I can do the singing, because I need tacos to warm up my voice for chocolate kisses. What? Why you make faces? Why you make faces like that?
I don't like where this is going.
I don't know why. I don't know why that showed up today. That's what I don't know. I don't understand why that fucking that turned into a thing today.
Yeah.
Like people are wondering, like, why is the Jennifer Lopez thing here today? Guess what? Dave doesn't know either.
We don't know how his brain works.
Yeah, it's like a laser. No fucking clue.
All right. Well, I think this is a good time to close this up. I actually want to get some sleep tonight. So,
Fuck sleep.
yeah, I know. But thank you, everybody, for sticking with us for this long.
Yeah, we can have we'll do a little after show. We'll do a little after show.
All right. Do you have anything else to read, by the way?
I have
Red 5
all
wise?
kinds of shit to read.
Red 5 wise?
Yeah,
All
I
right.
got-
Well, read that before we
I
actually
got
like
all
stop.
the reading.
All right,
I
we'll
got
do it.
All the
Do it.
reading to do.
Hold on.
Do it!
Wally, thank you. I'm sure it is early or late in wherever you are
It's a certain point of view.
from a certain point of view. Liar! All right, so wow, there's stuff highlighted. Luna Girl like highlighted stuff. Oh, it's not highlighted. Are you highlighting stuff as I'm looking at it? It's not good.
Doing it live.
All right. So, read if you finish early. Oh, okay. So, I guess this is kind of early.
We've already committed, so you might as well just go with it.
Red 5 is slapping you into the week with tonight's lineup. Read if you finish early. At 7:45, Alan from Press Play Streaming will be having a special Grave Reviews episode with General Shinobi and Nicole from Rogue One Radio on 1976 classic Stephen King classic Carrie. Nothing? No comment?
No comment.
8 p.m. Eastern. The weekend will be welcoming
That band that I was talking about, the weekend.
after the weekend.
Oh.
Not the weekend, the band with the drummer
Saturday afternoon.
Saturday afternoon. We'll be welcoming R2 back from his 2-week break at 9:30 p.m. Extra Techie will be streaming a gaming sesh on both his Twitch and YouTube channels. And WSTR Media goes live at 10 p.m. Eastern with the 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones. Finally, finally, one of the fucking YouTubers is doing Star Wars on the 20th anniversary. Thank you.
It's WSTR.
WSTR Media for fucking holding it down.
Yeah, good
and
call.
Doing the right thing.
Which we should have done.
Which we should have done.
But we fucked up.
I should, like, what's good music from Attack of the Clones?
Well, the main track that they sold with that was the Across the Stars, the love theme between Anakin and Padme. Didn't quite have the same kick to it that Duel of the Fates or Battle of the Heroes had.
Battle of the fucking Heroes, man. I listened. Dude, sidebar. So I was fucking... The shit we just did for fucking Sergeant Pepper's, not good. Like, I was listening to Sergeant Pepper's and trying to write a paper. Those two things don't go together.
No.
Like, you're not gonna, you can't try and think and then do that. So no, that got shut off. And I went back to my John Williams Essential playlist. And when fucking the Battle of the Heroes came on, I'm like, fuck it. That's it. Stop what I'm doing and just feel it. Just, oh my God, it's so good. God, Joe's just, John Williams. Oh, I love it, John Williams.
It's good stuff.
So good.
Yep.
Nipple erecting fucking John Williams. Anyway, Red 5 Network has 37 podcasts.
I'm 37?
And a new gaming branch in their family, from live streams to audio drops on your favorite podcasting app to pre-recorded YouTube episodes and shorts. All the video games. There is literally something for every personality. Browse through bio.link/red5. Check out the daily promos or shoot Lunar Girl a DM on any of our socials. She can suggest something you'll absolutely love that is perfect for you. She loves talking to our followers, and she does. She knows all the Red Fivers. She communicates with them constantly. So
all 37.
37. My girlfriend sucked 37 dicks. In a row?
As far as the Cantina family, Use and Abuse podcast will be taking a few weeks off. You can get your Scott and Kim fix with past episodes on YouTube and audio. I'm like looking at the words and still didn't read it right. Like, I'm looking at the words and like, no, we're not going to say those words in order. We're just not going to do it.
Yeah.
Fuck. Maybe if I did it in you know what?
Oh God. Don't do a voice. Too many voices today.
On Wednesday, ATSW the Escape Pod. I'll keep it simple. On Wednesday, ATSW the Escape Pod will be giving a final review of Moon Knight. Join Don Della Snooch, Brady Big Lovin', and Dragon Buddy in their live chat at 7:05 Eastern on YouTube. Thursday, catch Lunar Girl the Merciless as she gets all Sithy on Star Wars The Old Republic with General Shinobi, the Mandalorian, and host 97 Bravo. Group Sesh will be dual streamed on both YouTube and Twitch.
Group what?
Streamed.
Did you say group sex will be?
Group.
Never mind. Go ahead.
You broke me. The group sesh will be dual streamed on both YouTube and Twitch of 97 Bravo. So the group sex will be dual streamed of 97 Bravo on YouTube and Twitch.
English, motherfucker. Do you speak it?
It's Magic May in layman's terms. Wait, hang on. Let me rephrase. It's Magic May in layman's terms. Join the meddling Madge of the Magic McDonald's as he breaks down his decks. Grab your Brady brand ice cream and tune into the Magic Madness at layman's terms on YouTube. The Orange and Fett Show released episode 31, Revenge of the Sith. Subscribe to them on Spotify and give it a listen and be notified of upcoming releases. Big Sweet is about to release his latest. Glue yourself to his updates at Sweet Studios on Discord and Instagram. For us, you can find us at bio.link/the Sidebar Cantina, where you will find all our links to YouTube, audio, Patreon, our latest Spotify music mixtape, and all our social media platforms, including Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, Discord, and TikTok. Also in our bio link is our T Public merch shop. We have links to t-shirts, hoodies, and a wide variety of designs and sizes and colors. There are Sidebar Cantina face masks, tote bags, phone cases, exclusive stickers and pins. Just about anything you can imagine. Please tag us with your merch so Luna Girl can share it on the socials.
I feel very awkward right now.
Reviews. Please leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcasting app or on our Facebook page. Screenshot it and DM us the pic on Instagram or Twitter. Tell us what you love about the show. We'll read your review word for word on our next episode. Plus, Luna Girl will send you swag. She hasn't thrown any swag at anyone in a few weeks, and she's going through withdrawals. You don't want a sad and whiny Luna Girl, do you? Do the right thing.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know where.
I don't know what's going on right now. I just know I feel very uncomfortable. So, all right. Well,
Oh, Jason, come on. You like it. You know it. You know you like it, Jason.
all right. I think it's time to.
Was it loud enough to even like break squelch?
Yeah,
It went, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
All right.
for sure. All right. Well, that's it. We're pressing stop on the record button. I guess we're
Okay.
gonna do an after show.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Kristen, are you bringing Dave one of those things,
Kazoos.
or if we're saving those for something else? I don't know. Anyway, we're out of here. Thank you, everybody. We love you all. And until next time, Dave and everybody else, yeah, go fuck yourself. All right, recording stopped.
I didn't get to do the what do I click?
Oh, whoops.
Okay, now what do I click?
It's too late. It's not.
You're
recording.
an asshole.
I made one of my boys listen to the Oh Mom sketch.
Uh-huh.
No!
No!
He didn't think it was that funny.
They're all gonna laugh at you.
I think the first couple of times she screamed no, he thought it was funny, but then
No! Then it gets old.
yeah.
Yeah, kind of like when I do it. I know, Jason. Jason fucked it up. He, you know, what, he's all flustered because I fucking I dropped down into some fucking.
Yeah, these voices like have me all frazzled today.
I just cured out. I don't know. I don't know why.
There was one point actually when you were reading in the voice guy, like the fucking Clone Wars voice guy, where I caught just a glimpse of Hank in there. Your voice like slightly changed for just a second. I'm like, wait, oh, was that Hank? And then you went back to voice guy.
Luna Girl is not coming in tonight. It feels like he's about to talk about sweaty balls. The balls are sweaty right now. It's a little moist in there.
Yeah, it's getting
Moist.
picked a great word.
Moist.
Jennifer, say moist.
Moist.
Say Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez.
Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah, say Ja.
Je.
Ja.
Ye.
Jennifer Lopez.
Jennifer Lopez.
You did a whole skit. Did I told you, I think I said this on the show before, but for the latecomers, the entire karaoke night I did as Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah, you mentioned that before.
Holy fuck, that hurt. It hurt.
I can only imagine.
Dave's sexy talk got Jason all flustered. Yes,
It was something.
apparently.
Yeah, it was weird.
I'm curious to listen back to that. Hopefully Kathy was listening.
Yeah.
See what she thinks.
I'm tired. And this was only day one. Day one of 11. Why not just make 10 louder and then 10 would be the loudest? Please go to 11.
Do you know Alexa goes to 11?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Like if you ask Alexa, because Alexa, like right now, Alexa, go to 11. I don't know if it was. I don't know who plays our podcast to 11, but the podcast is over anyway, right? So it's the after show. Nobody's
Yeah.
listening to us on YouTube through Alexa, so it's not going to work. Anyway, if you ask like for the volume control, like it's a 1 through 10,
Yeah.
but you can ask Alexa to go to 11.
And it's actually a little bit louder?
Yeah, it's a little bit louder.
That's funny.
It's really actually funny.
It's when you want to get that last, you know?
Yeah. And mine's computer.
Right.
So mine's computer at home, and now it's a male voice too, since Kathy changed it.
Oh.
Like
She got sick of that bitch's voice and.
no, so she changed it and didn't like tell me. So I came downstairs because like all my lights are controlled through Alexa. So I came downstairs and it was like computer work mode, right? And what that does, it has a particular light setting, and the lights come on. It'll tune itself to Sirius XM, right, through the through my Echo,
Sure.
and then it'll say Roger that.
Okay.
Right. So it's going through its thing, turning the lights on, and it says Roger that in this male voice. I'm like, what the fuck? Right. I was like, and I'm standing there. I'm like, computer, did you change your voice? Like, yes, my voice can change from this to this or whatever. I'm like, holy shit. Right. So then I went upstairs, right, and Kathy was in bed. So I went all the way upstairs to be like, Kathy, like, did you know the Alexa voice can change? And she's fucking dying. She was dying laughing because she had changed it and caught me. I was like, I did. She got me.
That's
I
funny.
was like, and so I left it because I think it's funny. It reminds me of, I'm sorry, Dave.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I can't do that. That's what I gotta work on too. I gotta work on my howl.
Yeah. Have you ever had a howl or?
I did at one point.
Okay.
I did, because you can't have a name Dave and not have a howl.
That is true.
And it's kind of a thing.
Who? Dave?
Dave's not here.
Open up the door. It's Dave. D-A-V-E. Will you open up the goddamn door? Who?
All right. We do need to do Spinal Tap.
It's a good movie.
It is. All right. Let's start her down.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for still sticking around, but it is
Peace out.
time to say goodnight.
Go check out Carrie on the
Wayward Soul.
Press Play Studios. Great reviews with General Shinobi
And you will do it.
and Nicole.
So smooth.
No, and you will
And
do
Alan.
it.
Do it.
There you go.
You will do it so smooth.
All right. We're out of here.
See ya.